Hello there, Site 42 staff, as well as those of you from the greater SCP Foundation. And welcome to another Dr. Sherman's Office Hours, a subsidiary of the anomalous broadcast from Site 42. As always, I am Dr. Theron Sherman, Site Director here at Site 42 of the SCP Foundation. And as I have done for over a year and 2.5 months and counting, because that's right, the daily stream streak remains strong. I'm here to open my office doors to you, the SCP Foundation staff, to answer your burning questions about this dark and mysterious place of employment we call the SCP Foundation. So whether you have questions about the anomalies we contain, the staff who contain them, the groups of interest who try to stop us from containing them, or hypothetical containment procedures about anomalies that fall outside of the SCP Foundation's purview, perhaps they're from a different multiverse or pataphysical narrative level, i.e. fandom. Either way, we are here for the next however long this takes, likely in the 3 to 5 hour range, or until my camera battery dies, whatever comes first, for today's SCP reading as well as general Q&A. But before I get into the stream subject, allow me to handle a little bit of housekeeping. Well, first of all, Yusavar, thank you for those kaleidoscope glasses. I do think I look pretty snappy with them, don't you think? Now, before I get into even standard welcomes, I am forced, by the adorableness at hand, to bring on Puppy of Interest 42, codenamed Charlie. Hello, baby girl, who very politely sat through the whole introductory of the stream without being upsetty spaghetti that I was not picking you up immediately. Thank you very much, baby girl. The sweetest pumpkin at Site 42 is here to say hello, and of course to get her chat-mandated treaty. Charlie, without the E and a heart over the I, sends love to the SCP Foundation Containment Hazard Assessment Team. And now be free, baby girl. Now for my allergies. There's only so much Zyrtec and or Claritin one can take. Still, one needs to be cautious. Now, CD23, congratulations on being the #1 most punctual member of today's Containment Hazard Assessment Team, i.e., congratulations on being first chatter. Then interns not interns yet, next comes the members. Senior Researcher Alex, Blue Phantom, Little Shadow One, Puppet Boy, Dr. Frogman, Mamori, everyone who I've just named, thank you for being here punctually, and thank you for being here as members of Site 42 on YouTube. We appreciate your membership and your service. Now interns Hunter Mark, Steven, Marksy, Stamp Band, J. Doey, Yeetus, Rain, Froy, Thuggy, Grand Amungius, Sigma Ohio, Tumbari, Alex P., Alice, and Minty Andrea. Thank you all for being here punctually, and thank you for being here today, interns, just for being you. Now, reminder that today's stream is sponsored. It is sponsored by the Send Dr. Sherman to the fancy high-tech YouTubers convention taking place not this weekend, but next weekend. There will be many prominent YouTube content creators who we will be trying to network with, introduce them to the SCP Foundation if they're not familiar, and see if we can turn them into SCP Foundation fans, maybe get a little content collaboration going between SCP Foundation and the rest of the YouTube ecosystem. What better way than a Creative Commons fandom for people to share alike within the bounds of the Creative Commons license and get better and better things made in the film space, in the YouTube space, in the gaming space, etc. The tickets to this are extremely expensive if I want to have a hope of getting any FaceTime with YouTube corporate and or these content creators. So if you have a little extra donation money to spend this month to help me cover the frankly absurd cost of these tickets, as well as the merchandise I will be handing out to make an impression, then we would appreciate your generosity to the cause. I did see someone ask if I know about the upcoming SCP movie that was announced. Yes. Whoever there was that asked that, you should go to the previous 3 days of streams where we have been yapping about it, finding out what details we can. Today, stream subject, we are returning to This Is My JAMCON after a long-awaited hiatus. This is because there is no more news that I can share about the SCP movie until something develops. I don't have any new information to share as I have over the past 3 days. So, that being the case, we are to return to This Is My JAMCON today. Now, for those who have joined us since this time frame, This Is My JAMCON was an unofficial contest on the SCP database. It was a situation where SCP authors traded song recommendations and then wrote SCP's tales and other formatted stories based on those song recommendations. We have read up to number 24, Kane's Proposal, Ethylene, live on stream. And as a bonus, I have tried to guess what song the article was based on before I had it spoiled. I only have successfully done that about 2 or 3 times because most of the SCP authorship seems to have very esoteric taste in music, and I did not know what the hell songs they were even doing. But we did get 2 or 3 correct. I only wanted 1, so I'm very happy about that. Now today's article, Kane's Proposal, Ethylene, is a false SCP-001 article. If I remember correctly, it is not actually a 001, it is a false 001. From my preliminary research, which I did keep very shallow, so that I would not be spoilered on the song or the story itself. So, I might be wrong about that. We will find out together. Furthermore, this article, dear Lord, the reason it has taken us this long to get to it is A, look at our pretty format. B, feature content warning for sexual themes or language without depiction of sexual acts. Content warning for non-consensual sexual acts, aka sexual assault. And content warning for severe mistreatment of children, aka children abuse. This is meant for people 18 or above. It is important for me to remind you right now that the SCP Foundation is an adult community. You must be 18 or older to sign up. This YouTube video has the check mark, "This is not meant for children." We cannot limit who watches this video, so I implore you, if you are under the age of 18, probably best to set this episode aside, meet us for tomorrow's stream. Furthermore, if you do intend to stay and watch regardless, make sure your parents know what you're doing. This is essentially a rated R movie. You should have parental permission for this kind of thing. But that's not the only reason that we have not done this article yet. The other reason we have not done this article yet is because it is big and long. This is going to take us all day. This is the stream subject because it's going to take us 5 ever. That's one more than forever for those who are unknowing. Sheesh! Now I will make my life a little bit easier. There is a stripped mix that has more standardized Foundation website visuals, which will simply make it easier for me to read. But it's still, look at that little sidebar scroll. So yeah, this is going to take us the entirety of stream to read through. But since there's only 3 or 4 more left, I'm not going to leave this out if I can help it. So what we're going to do is we're going to go section by section. I am going to read a section of the story, and then we will take a breath, do some general Q&A, read the donos, and then we will continue to make our way through this bit by bit. Dr. Frogman has requested a word count. Let me roll down the whole ass article, highlighting all the words until we reach the bottom. Ow! We hit the bottom. And now, I meant that as I was falling and I hit the bottom of an elevator shaft or valley when I said hit the bottom, ow. I did not mean that to infer anything. Don't take me out of context, okay? Hashtag annoyed and asexual. That's what I have to say. Word counter. So, the word count. No, I don't want to pay for a word counter. Just give me a word counter. What are you doing? Paste. It is so many words, it is lagging the website. Please. 25,000 words. 25,000 words. Now, I was guaranteed by the discussion page, because I went to the discussion, I did not read the author post. That way I would not get spoiled on the song choice. But I was told this has deep emotional resonance for some people, and we will feel feelings. But we will have to find that out for ourselves. But before we begin to find out for ourselves, I will engage in a little bit of general Q&A and catch up with the donations before we begin this. Starting with Sumerian, good to see you, buddy. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're doing well. Do you tend to push through on articles when you decide you aren't enjoying them, or just say, okay, that's enough and move on? Due to this being a contest entry, I am more likely to push through. When it comes to on-screen readings, I am more likely to push through than if I am reading on my own. If I'm just reading on my own, then I will, first of all, an article of this length, especially with its formatting, which you will see is very esoteric and non-standard, I will usually just skip it. Being honest, I prefer short and sweet articles. I read SCP for SCP, and my first instinct is, even I will sometimes go to the, this would be better as a tale, well. Even I'll do that from time to time. But, I'm told this also might justify itself somewhere. So, I'm going to give it a chance. But yes, typically I would not bother with this on my own time, but since it's in line with a whole contest that we have read through, It's going to have to disappoint me pretty badly to get me to cut out halfway. Okay. How's the fitness coming along? Tiger Claws, we have successfully gotten under the weight I was before the injury, and we are making progress towards start of pandemic or pre-pandemic, depending on where the healthy range is there. The Foundation Fitness Initiative is going bonker sauce. Getting strong, getting back in shape, making our way. Thanks for asking. I mean, look at that. Look at that jawline. That is a lot better than it was 2 months ago. Gray, thank you for vending 5 stars to the Containment Hazard Assessment team. They are now a 5-star chat thanks to your work. Congratulations. Alex, thank you for sending a star. They have now got a prestige rank, but they are now a 1-star chat. They will need to make their way back up to 5 stars. Sigma Ohio, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Grab yourself some Chex Mix on your way past the commissary. Could you do a song? It's called Roca Chase Theme with lyrics. That's the song I want you to do. I'm hoping Chuck doesn't donate enough to change it. Yes, I do recall. So, right now we have a fun game going on in the chat where whoever donates the most in a single donation gets the option to override my song choice for the end of stream. This is in the interest of helping me to cover the cost of this extremely expensive YouTuber convention I'm going to on our behalf. So, right now, Sigma Ohio at $4.99 is the highest rated donor, but they have been beaten, so unfortunately, Sigma Ohio, you might need to do another donation to get your song choice. I will do my best to keep track of this as we go throughout stream. Intern Marksy, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Please grab yourself a quiche on your way past the commissary. Dr. Sherman, 05 said to stop ducking their calls about transferring SCP-7 to... Non-gesture. To Site 42. Dr. Heston no longer has the mental capacity to look after it. You must be getting some sort of strange... What's the phrase I'm looking for? Multiversal, multi-canon phone line, because Dr. Hessen is stationed at Site 42 with that abomination. At least where I'm from. Oh, wait, I gotta flip it this way so it doesn't, lower. Stay. Damn bendable tripod. There we go. That's better. Yusavar, thank you for sending a picnic basket to the Containment Hazard Assessment team. I'm sure they will keep it safe from any rascally bears. Amber, thank you for sending a floating heart to the Containment Hazard Assessment team. I'm sure they feel the love. And right now, Marksy is currently the highest donor for song choice. I will mark that down for reference along the way. Got it. Dr. Sherman, question about Fan Art Friday. If it's fan art of Radiger, is it allowed? Radiger is a large enough SCP Foundation community personality, plus a good friend of the channel, that I'll allow it. Sigma Ohio, thank you for donating again to say. By the way, that song is also from an entity that could cause problems. Basically, he is a living parasite in other players' games of Roblox. Oh, that's annoying. Shouldn't grief other players' games. I just think that's mean behavior. Can't we just have fun with fun gaming? All right, let me double check the Ko-Fi, make sure I haven't missed any notifications there. We are clear. I may sound like a LARPer for this, but who is Radiger? Mamori. Check out the YouTube channel of said creator. They are your favorite SCP YouTuber's favorite SCP YouTuber. It doesn't matter which one, it's all of them. Good luck with the stream. Gonna pop out. This article doesn't look like my bag. Oh, yeah, Sim. I, too, am worried about that, and I'm hoping to be proven wrong. But, we'll catch you later. Take care of yourself, and we'll catch you next time. Mark C., thank you for donating again to say. Apologies, Dr. Sherman. Wires got crossed in communications. 05 meant a transfer of containment cell within Site-42. They were recommending your office. The hell they are! I will personally burn down the overseers if that's how they want to play it. Oh, I don't want to be an overseer, but I will mutiny. You can quote me on that. Alright, Site-42 staff, let's start taking a look at this article. Kane's proposal, Ethylene. It's a 001 proposal, level 5 top secret. Containment class Esoteric, Secondary class Entos, Disruption class Dark, Risk class Danger. Does not have special containment procedures. It jumps straight to the description of SCP-001-A. It shows a picture of some windows, the site where component parts SCP-001-A and SCP-001-B were joined. And now we have some sort of prose. So let's see what this kid's got to say. After I heard the news, me and Steven and some random guys I had no business with hauled ass to the hospital to see what happened with you. Thanking God that you supposedly hadn't been hit too bad, I could hardly talk to the goddamn receptionist at Memorial when we arrived. Steven putting his beat blue car into low gear and let us jump out, as if those 15 seconds would have been the difference between life and death. I remember looking down at you, fiddling with my baggy hoodie cuff in that shitty autistic way I'd always do, and asking God if Zay would take a prayer from me for just a second, because I needed you to be okay now, and I was going to do whatever the fuck it took, even if it meant speaking to the almighty creator of the universe as a lowly creature thing. The guys were talking above me, but I had my sights trained on you, John Moreno. You and your curly black hair and the smattering of freckles on your soft nose and the silver band you bought for me. I feel a shot of fear run up my back as I run my hand on the side of the bed and have it come away without the clink of painted steel on my finger. And it goes away just as fast as I realize you're not about to bitch about me not wearing the ring again. 'Cause that fucking thing costs $500. And I stood over your bedside with everyone else. Sure, I'll join them in their silent prayers. God's a bit scary for all of us. But we need the Father right now. It's cold in here, colder than your house. Some bitch disturbed us at the door. Make sure not to overwhelm him. He's dying, for Christ's sake. She's right, I guess, but it doesn't mean that we're not gonna wait any less tensely. More dignity on display in E240 than there'd be at this motherfucker's funeral. In the sea of stony-faced people, I feel myself dilate in a weird way. Dilate's the best way to put it, I think. Dilation is the expanding of a shape, so it takes up a whole graph. Up and up, or down and down to infinity, either way. And always, it keeps the same basic, fucky shape. Fuck me if that isn't how I feel right this second. Then you opened your eyes. I got a good drink of your oasis blue eyes before I felt everyone piling over me, and I instinctually recoiled from their touch, and you called out weakly to me. Zach, bro? And I'm forced to kind of push a guy out of the way so I can lock onto you and be the handhold for you in bed that I am for you in normal life. John, I said. Not sure what else to say, hoping I come off more like I'm trying to restrain rather than conjure emotion. It seems to work on you because you smile weakly. This is not the nasty smile that I see on you when you hop out of bed at 11:30 at night to go out and beat the snot out of some poor fuck with your brass gloves and steel boots. This is a good smile, the kind of smile I saw under the pine tree when you were drinking out that crumpled red cup on the park bench. You want to know if it looks bad, and I said it does, but the doctors say that you're going to be okay despite it all. And you bought it because already you feel half decent. You can't quite walk, but you'll be running in a few days, you're sure of it. I really want to believe you. You want to talk to the rest of the guys, and I leave you and patiently watched them from outside the huddle as as the guys asked you a bunch of questions, trying to figure out the bitch that hit you with they car, and why you was so green you let it happen. Trying to see if they can track his bitch ass down and do unto him what he did unto others. The chill of the air conditioner can't hold a candle to the chill I feel as one of the guys whispered in your ear and you laughed, knowingly and relishingly. A couple of the guys leave you and I get to see you again. I don't go this time because I want to be your bitch so badly that I'll do what all the other bitches do when their other half is taken out of battle and the gang slowly dissipates, dilating their world to work on catching and teaching that cocksucker a lesson. We stay aware of each other for a long time, as the guys keep talking, until all of them are satisfied that you're fine and all of them know what they gotta do. I swear to God, you harden when you're around me. I'm not talking about how much you refuse to give a fuck about the fact that you can be a senior in college and I'm not even a senior in high school. We already talked about that a ton, and I love it, or at least I'm pretty sure I do. I'm talking about your heart, goddammit. It's supposed to be the case that you can soften up a bit with your baby, I think, but I feel like you retreat into the bed as you look up at me running my hands through my hair, getting your comfort from the thin sheets of the hospital bed and the little heating pads the nurse placed right under your shoulder blades. Why do you have to be my protector when you can barely take care of my worries about you? I thought, as I glanced away, the fluorescent lights right above you, throwing so much light into my eyes, it's going to bring out the tears deep inside my throat. I want to say so bad, why you got to do all this? Why don't you calm down for me? I need you. But you take one look at my scrunched up face and you smirk, the way a grown-up does when they see a little kid throwing a tiny temper tantrum. I need to ask you so bad to take me serious, but I also guess I wouldn't take me seriously if I was laid out on the bed, having just been ran over by some random guy that's pissed he got sold bad Mary Jane. How can you take anything serious then without sinking into despair around someone that matters to you? I appreciate the protection and I hate it. I'm unsteady, I realized, so I went to sit. I looked eye to eye at you from the short seat next to your bed for a while, desperately needing to speak. I need you to speak first, I realize. I can't just start a conversation with you. I need you to break the ice for yourself because I need to know that you love me as much as I love you and more. I need you to be casual with me like I'm your friend because I've never been one for the big showy off type shit that you think is the only way guys know how to care. I need you to just be yourself, and I know you wouldn't understand that. You shouldn't need to. You're on a fucking hospital bed, and this is supposed to be the time when the good guy comes out from me, and I... Interruption. You gonna say something? My voice caught in my throat, and it came out all cracky before I could breathe a bit lower, and lower it down the way you like it. Do you want me to stay here? I don't know what the fuck I need to say. I don't know my lines. I don't know my part. I don't know if there's a fucking script for me. I mean, I'm tired. My words catch in my throat again. Did I do something wrong? I know if I did, you won't tell me now so I can apologize to you. You're going to build it up and throw it in the pile with everything else, and you're going to wait until a tiny cherry on top breaks the camel's back and unleashes a goddamn dam of cusses and shit. Fucking goddamn. Shit hurts, you know? I stand up and lay my hand over yours. I hope it comes off as caring and comforting because I don't have any words to do that. They say body language is 95% of communication. I'm hoping the 5% love I can get the balls to show you gets dilated by that 95%. You close your eyes and swallow, and I feel like you sink deeper into the bed somehow, even though you're already laying there relaxed. And this image of you comes to me of a man thrown out to sea, left on a raft, left to sink down to the tides as slowly water rushes in and hugs him. I try to throw it away, but I know it'll come back later. I'm sorry, John. You smirk. You don't gotta be sorry about it. You don't got shit to be sorry about. You attempt to sit up, I catch you with my hands and let you down, but not before getting a final feel of your hair, wet and thick. That one makes me smirk a smile. It's fine, I'll be fine, at least for Thanksgiving, I'm a willet. I nod, smile meekly, and wait there at your side until you cough. I'm sorry I can't do anything else without feeling a buffoon or a bitch. Just go, man, I'll be okay, you see my dilemma and you give me an out. And I stood there for a second before your gaze made me go. That is the end of section 1. I now return to the chat for a moment. Right now, I can't say I am enjoying this article particularly. The casual tone, it is very far removed from what I conceptualize an SCP document. And format breaks. I love a format break. I love meta bullshit. But because I don't know why this is what it is, right now, I'm just kind of stuck with what the story is, and the story has not really caught me yet. But I'm not giving up immediately. We will continue a little farther, and we will see what we end up with. I guess it is very saucy. Well, right now we have, what's the phrase I'm looking for? We have criminal underpinnings, selling weed, gangs, getting hit by cars, so it's it is at least, vocally speaking, within the mood that they're aiming for, it seems. I'm surprised this isn't a tale. Actually, it reads like one. Very often, if anything is just slightly off format, then people say immediately this should be a tale. And I don't hold to that on its own, because there are plenty of format screw articles that I love and think they make a justification for their format break. So right now, yes, this reads like a tale. I mean, it is a first-person reading. They said early, one of the first things they say is see what happened with you. So they're talking to us like we're the one in the hospital bed. And I'm wondering if there's significance to us being John Moreno in the hospital bed at this point. I don't know who our main character is. We had one neo-pronoun. Not that that gives me a... and that's referring to God specifically. So referring to God with a neo-pronoun. The gang motif. Yeah, right now I just don't have enough to make a judgment. Let me catch up on the donos real quick before we continue. Sigma Ohio, thank you for donating again to say. How do you look at some of the stuff from the Troll Edge community? It's the same thing where nature corruption came from, please. When you say how do you look at some of the stuff from the community, are you saying what is my opinion of it? You're definitely not asking how do you look at it, because you know how to look up things on the internet, I assume. So your phrasing there makes me say you're asking how do I think of it. There's definitely too much stuff. So it's not something I've ever looked into in a manner where I have a lore check of it. It's just a separate thing that I have no ideas about, to be honest. Not any more than you've told me about it specifically. Mark C., thank you for donating again to say, Dr. Sherman, I am scared for this article. I'm requesting to be sequestered and amnesticized. Yes, you did, we should be worried based on the content warnings of child abuse, sexual misconduct, etc. Remember, rated R stream. Rated R stream. We had a neo pronoun. I didn't even catch that. Yeah, there's a ze, Z-E. But it was only one, referring to in the first paragraph, when they were talking to God, they referred to God as ze. Sigma Ohio, thank you for donating again to say, could you please look at it and go into the lore of it? I assume you mean lore of it, not law. I'll skip the typo there. There are thousands of communities actually from it, so please look at it. I gotta be honest, Sigma Ohio, the likelihood of me doing that is very slim. Because I make content about the SCP Foundation. I stream every day talking about the SCP Foundation. I have a cover job as a ballroom dance instructor that I also work. I'm also in rehab for my ankle and strengthening the Foundation Fitness Initiative. I do not have a lot of free time to be doing things like deep dives into other communities especially ones that I'm not familiar with and have no inherent interest in hunting down. Now, when you talk about it, I do look into the individual things that you're asking about, because, I mean, you are donating, that's in return for your generosity, and I'm happy to do that, to continue that process. Just like I am with any other donor to the chat who wants me to read a piece of lore for how would the Foundation handle this. But I do not intend to go deep diving into the lore on my own time, since I've got so much going on right now, unfortunately. Especially, I'm getting ready for the YouTuber convention coming up in 2 weekends. I'm getting ready for my summer travel, which includes MetroCon Tampa in 4 weekends. So we got a lot going on. Yusavar, thank you for sending 2 clutches to the Containment Hazard Assessment team. I am sure during this article reading they will come in, well, you know. Is this the 5-hour JAMCON article? Yes, it is, Nolono. We will see how much we appreciate reading it and how much if there's odds I give up. Because right now, I'm not super enjoying it. I'm not on board yet. I'm giving it opportunity at this time. LARP Site 42. I do believe Rad is she, her. Yes. Alright, let's continue. Before we continue, Internal Security Division, thank you for your first donation to today's stream, as well as being a member. And grab yourself a blueberry muffin on your way past the commissary. How would the Foundation deal with the Doctor? We've tried. Multiple Pandoricas. Lots of containment procedures. That timey-wimey bastard keeps escaping, but one day, I'll catch the son of a bitch. Wikitubia says she, they. For Radiger? Oh, didn't know that. Also, Wikitubia says that. Radiger has a Wikitubia profile. That's pretty dope. Okay. Sigma Ohio, thank you for donating again to say, how would the Scarlet King face up against Darkness God incident from the Weeping God channel? Well, I hope I can find some lore of this to gauge it, Sigma Ohio. Darkness God incident, Weeping God channel. Darkness God incident, Weeping God. The Weeping God, titular antagonist for the Trollj incident. So are you talking about the Weeping God, or is there something more specific here, Sigma Ohio? I'm seeing the Weeping God incident. Is that what you're talking about, Sigma Ohio? The Weeping God incident, one of the most popular incidents of the Trollj incident's history. No, that is not it. Is it the God of Darkness incident? It's called Weeping God, Darkness God is the one you're looking at. Sigma, Ohio, I'm gonna really need you to, like, specify this somehow. Because there's too many gods and darkness and weeping, and I can't find through search what you're actually talking about. You need to be very specific with a search term or a website for me to look this up on. While I wait for Sigma, Ohio to try to clarify a little more, because I do not know what you're talking about at this point. Gray, thank you for sending 4 stars to the Containment Hazard Assessment team. You have made them again a 5-star team. And so congratulations, chat, you are a 5-star team again. Intern Marksy, thank you for donating again to Ask. Author Sherman, if someone were to want to write their first SCP tale, which existing SCP tales would you recommend as examples of good writing? Well, there's always my favorite SCPs, but I mean, the whole SCP Wiki has a quality floor where, where if it's on the wiki and it has a positive rating, then it's a good SCP, so to speak. Moreover, I would more pick what kind of subject matter and article are you trying to write? What is your anomaly like? And then I would look at articles similar to the anomaly in question to see how they formatted and things like that. I would also, of course, read the... What's the phrase I'm looking for? I would also read the writing guides on the SCP wiki for more tips and tricks like that. Sigma, Ohio. I cannot watch a YouTube video today to get lore on this. Is there a wiki entry that I can read to quickly skim and figure this out? Because I'm not going to watch a video for lore during this, especially when we have a very long SCP article to read. We're only one section in. I got to jump on that. But Dr. Sherman, is there any tips you have to be more looked favorably on to get the green light? Technically speaking, I don't know anything about the green light process because it was invented after I was already an SCP author. But if I'm talking about pitching an idea for a story, then what they're going to want is likely the anomaly that you are trying to make as an entity, but also ideas on the story you are trying to convey with that entity, the mood of the story you are trying to portray, and the format of the story you are trying to portray. I think I said 3 different things there. Yes, the story, the mood, and the format. If you can triangulate, I have an anomaly, this is the format I want to write it in, this is the mood I'm trying to convey, this is the story I'm trying to convey, then likely you're going to have a holistic pitch that can pass muster. That's just my best guess. Remember, I've never done the greenlight process before. That's just how I would pitch a story I'm interested in pitching to someone, for instance. Intern Marie, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Please grab yourself some beef jerky on your way past the commissary. If you put the book I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream into SCP-826, what would happen? First and foremost, just as a question, did something happen with the I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream fandom recently? Because I swear, we've been streaming for 1 year and 2 months, and only in the last, 4 months have I been getting a lot of questions about I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream. Has something happened with that media property that's got people interested in it again? I wonder if it's just that the Amazing Digital Circus had inspiration from it, and that's why. It's because the Amazing Digital Circus is what a lot of people saying. So yeah, that makes sense. Doc, where do I read your SCP stories? Gray, you can go to my author page in the pinned link in the chat, which is the Site42 support beacon, beacons.ai/Site42. And that has all of my social media links, so you can follow me elsewhere. Also, there's the my author page is listed there, so you can find my SCPs there. I think you know, Intern Marie, that the 826 bookends that let you enter the story, you would go into the story of I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream. And that's a very bad place to be. So I wouldn't go there. Where did Dr. Altoclef's desk go? I think the desk is probably getting a hot mahogany wax massage at this point. Oh, I gotta fix that. That's not gonna work. Sorry, I'm having some technical difficulties here, and I just want to make sure that I have access to what I want to do. Got that fixed. Alright. Okay, that should be easier to handle. Sigma Ohio, thank you for donating again to say. What I meant is the channel is called Weeping God. The incident on there that you're looking at is Darkness God Incident. Okay, Sigma Ohio, but again, is there a wiki where I can read about this incident without having to watch a YouTube video? Gray, thank you for sending sparkles to the Containment Hazard Assessment team. I'm sure they enjoy cleaning up yet another glitter bomb. Okay, Sigma Ohio, if that's a no, I'm sorry I cannot look at that on stream. Because I'm not going to sit back and watch a YouTube video to get context. That would turn out to be a boring stream since I can't actually show you guys the video and such like that. So come up with a different matchup down the line, or find a way to explain to me the context. But in the meantime, we've got to get back to this article and give it a fair shake. So I am moving into part B of this anomaly, which is description SCP-001-B with a picture of a building and the site of SCP-001-B's conception. Oh boy. So, here comes more first-person narration. Let's see what we've got. I was always a daddy's girl. I'm sure you figured that out by now. I wonder now, as I manipulate bits and lines more naturally than I ever should have been able to. Footnote. We have a link to SCP-000. This is in some way related to SCP-000. Which also brings up a footnote. Let me get a hold of that real quick. I have to go all the way to the bottom. Show footnotes. Nope. That didn't work. So how do I get to seeing that? Okay, that just links to SCP-000. So, a reminder, SCP-000 by Cryogen Chaos is tagged with Cosmic Horror, Foundation Format, Horror, Pattern Screamer, Psychological Horror, and it's featuring the character Researcher Rosen. So, we are looking at possible pattern screamer situation. That'll certainly take us in a new direction. So as we were saying, I wonder now as I manipulate bits and lines more naturally than I should ever have been able to. Why aren't you sticking where I can scroll? Thank you. What the hell you really thought of me. You know, I like to think I knew you enough to figure out your thought process, figure out why you found things beautiful or didn't, and why you got angry or drunk or happy, or why you chose to love the things you love, and why you chose not to love me. But I don't think I've done enough research on that front, really. And by research, I mean thinking. It's all I can do now, after all, and I like to think of my thoughts in different ways. Helps to fill this void in my heart. It's fucking incredible, really. I actually thought and dreamed of being defined by you. The way that my mother was so marked by Daddy when he started turning to God, when his mind was drifting apart, that she converted and got baptized and went to church every day for an hour to pay dues to his burgeoning mental illness. I still want to be defined by you in some dark place, to have you present always at my side. I was never able to take a shower and close my eyes without my mind calling that night to my vision. And the weird sick dread and attempts to convince myself it was fine with it. I wonder what that speaks of me. I hope whatever it does say, that it doesn't matter. Footnote 1, even though I know it does. I hope you know that I did kind of end up in perpetual comparison to you. Maybe that's just my nostalgia talking, but still, there's no way I can escape you, and your body and your Beretta that you swore you'd never use, but had to keep around the house in case, and your ash and lean. Jesus Christ, the lean. I don't even think you couriered it. I think you just cooked that shit for yourself. I swear I never judged you for it, but I always wonder why you were so addicted to the shit. It was so nasty, even with the Dr. Pepper you added. Until you told me one Tuesday midnight that it was plain old family tradition. How am I supposed to escape it, you know, was what you wanted to say but didn't, because that would involve you admitting you weren't capable of doing something perfectly in your reach. Don't worry, I think I agree with you. I don't think it's a good thing to do that, but I do. There were probably lots of weird fucking things, but the most insidious thing, I think, is that I love the hope you brought me. Hope is a strange word to use when you're strung out the way we were, but we were so hopeful, weren't we? We were going to make it over the county line away from our parents. We were going to make it together, working odd jobs and trying to scrape by with our dog shit college performance to get a trade certificate or an associate's or something cheap and easy. And we were going to find our way together. We were going to die and nearly die together. We were going to look at the sky and wish that the lights were dim enough that we could see the stars before we went back to the flashing lights of the TV and the occasional fire from the busted transformers. We were going to fuck so much. That was the most important promise, if we're honest. We were perfectly made for each other, you once said, and God did that include our bodies more than our souls. But I still won't give in to the infectious idea that I'm almost nothing without you. I'm better than you, and I fucking know it. I'm not some whore-ass bitch who gave away her soul and her dreams so she could be high all day and have a reason to go out and pop motherfuckers in the chest, or the legs, or whatever non-lethal place you felt like. I'm not the fucking pedophile who decides that rather than go on fucking Bumble or some bullshit like a normal guy, you're going to go to community college and pretend that you're a student so you can pick up tossed fatherless eggs. You had an apartment and a gun and you paid your own bills and you introduced me to all the wild shit I loved and all the guys who I wanted to be like and be liked by, and that was your only virtue because you were fake and fucking comical in every other way that mattered. I'm better than you, just I kind of have a hard time figuring out how I'm better. That is half of the next section, but it's separated by asterisks, so I'm taking the opportunity to take a break and return to stream. Now I will say, having reached the end of this particular section, I am starting to see that my privilege upbringing as a cishet white guy, for my author's sake anyways, in a somewhat middle-class upbringing, definitely doesn't relate to this story, but I'm starting to coalesce in that same way that I can see how other people would. how this is relatable to you and therefore it resonates with you, where it doesn't resonate with me. That is how sometimes you've got to take yourself out of your own perspective to understand things. Now, furthermore, I did get a little bit of interest from myself personally that we are referencing SCP-000. We're referencing pattern screamers and setting this up as related to that in some sense. I wonder how that turn is going to come. Definitely, this is a foreshadowing, helps the process, because with my lack of relatability to this, I was not interested in the least. But now there's something a crumb, I am interested in the Pattern Screamers lore, where this does make me want to stick with it and see how that turns around, in a way. So that's the two things I see as we continue on. Is the SCP guy. Intern, yes, Escobar, Intern Escobar. It is I, John SCP. Now let me catch up on the donations that came in during that segment before we return to more of that particular SCP article. Aflac, thank you for your first donation to today's stream, as well as being a member. Grab yourself some fried mozzarella on your way past the commissary. Dr. Sherman, I'm cooking an instance of SCP al dente-J, wish me luck. I mean, listen. I know researcher Fattore wanted to harm those anomalies, but come on, we need to study them. We don't destroy anomalies. It's not like leaving them is going to harm anything, so no. Request denied. Don't do that. Intern Yusavar, thank you for your first super chat of today's stream. Please grab yourself a lightly fried fish fillet on your way past the commissary. What would happen if SCP-5886 saw SCP-096's face? So, Jim Biggio, SCP-5886, is a common speedster archetype, which means that SCP-5886 is far, far faster than SCP-096. And so, yes, Jim Biggio could easily outrun SCP-096. That would essentially become the immortal versus the immortal snail assassin chase. Whereas long as Jim kept a decent distance, Jim would not have to worry about SCP-096. But SCP-096 would always be in pursuit, which would be annoying for us, having to clean up the mess and all the murders it does en route to Jim. So let's just not let that happen. But can SCP-096 travel light speeds as it gets constantly faster it keeps running? We know it is very, very fast. We do not know that it can constantly approach light speed. For instance, when it was being chased by the Mobile Task Force in its original document, it accelerated to a high speed, but it did not continually accelerate. There was a cap there, I believe, if I'm remembering correctly. Captain Gilbert, thank you for your 6 months as a Mobile Task Force Captain here at Site-42. We appreciate your membership and your service. Hey, Dr. Sherb, how are you doing? How was your 4th of July? I was a Family Submiss stream. Any events recently at your site? You seen any events with 682? Thankfully, no, we haven't seen any events with 682, but we had a quiet 4th of July, thankfully. The puppy of interest was a new baby, but is not afraid of fireworks, it turns out, at least from inside a house, so that is good news. No stress for the Babs. Intern Ike, thank you for sending 5 doubloons to the Containment Hazard Assessment Team. I'm sure they'll spend them wisely. 100 stars, thank you for sending a star to the Containment Hazard Assessment Team. I am sure they will keep it 100 at your urging. And also Sparkles, that you are sending to the Containment Hazard Assessment Team 100 stars. I'm sure they appreciate cleaning up 2 more glitter bombs at your urging. Do you have interest in the backrooms? Yes. Oh, I've lost your name. Whichever intern asked that. I do find the backrooms to be an interesting anomaly. However, we do have the difficulty that async is bogarting the containment and research, and they won't allow us to do our jobs. Idiots. All right, Site 42 staff. Let's move into the next section of this SCP and see what we learn. Ready yourselves. I'm sure there will be more trauma. Remember, this is a rated R SCP article for non-consensual sexual content, child abuse. It's pretty dark, so keep that in mind. Be an adult or ask an adult for permission to watch this. Especially because this very first line. I almost killed myself when I was 13 years old because of guys like you. Well, maybe not that close, but fuck it if you don't get what I mean. It was when my mom was especially absent and shit because she was trying to do double shifts at Walgreens because her boss told her she would be up for a promotion in a few months if she put her head down and showed that she was the ideal candidate to take floor manager 3 days a week. It was when I was drawing banners and shit for a bunch of Twitch streamers, and I was trying to get my name out there, and I had my DMs open as a young kid on the internet. God save me with all the creepy pedophiles I had to shove out of my DMs, despite indicating my age and explicitly saying I wouldn't have none of that shit. It was when I was spending most of my days in Discord servers and Telegram channels and shit, because a young guy didn't understand why he felt so alienated by the others at school, and he tried to compensate by getting literally 100% of his social interaction online with people that he thought were cool. I'm not going to indulge you in explaining all of that, but the point is I think I've always been a bit weird. I've always had a bit of a desire to be broken. I need something to show that my pain is tangible and real and that it matters. And I don't know why that is, and it's a hell of a first world white bitch problem to have, but it's still a problem. It's already fucked me up twice, you know? Humph. They say that you get formed when you're in childhood, and I've thought a lot about what happened to me when I was a kid, and I can't come up with what the issue is that would have made me this way. We now get into a separate box document, so this is a different format for a moment. I was an artistic kid. I always wanted to be drawing with chalk or pencil or something, until I realized I was shit and I stopped, but that was later. I used to be very outgoing, always wanting to play with other kids and know how they were doing, but I don't think that change was out of the ordinary. I used to have very high expectations of myself and my school performance and my future. I thought I could be a CEO. I don't even need to explain that. I remember being little and being sick a lot, fevery and sweaty and allergy and all that. I don't know why, it probably doesn't matter. I used to like all the type of shit little kids like. Cars were huge until my dad had me join the choir. I was 8. It coincides a little with some of the weird shit. I remember thinking a lot about death and hellfire when Dad started to talk about it, saying that we needed to know what the future could hold for us. I just wish he didn't do it in front of me. My God. I remember the last time I ever spoke to my friends when I was 9, and I wanted to play that game where we threw ourselves off the swing set and saw how far we could land. I landed dead last. I was always too much of a coward to lighten up and fly, but it was still fun. A great end to public school. Maybe it wasn't anything, but I always think on it with a heavy heart. I think I wanted to die when I was 10 for a few weeks there, filled with, disassociation and wondering and thinking about what would happen if I did something like snuck out of the house and ran until I was too far away from anyone to get back. To die lost, lying on the living woods' floor. I even wrote a little poem about it, left it in the little desk cubby hole. I was thinking someone would like it, then I returned 2 periods later to see that someone threw the piece of trash away. I remember playing Tsum Tsums with my girl cousin when I was very little, and we would pretend to run a town with the little plush characters. And one time we decided to go downstairs as part of our plot for one of those things. Goofy was trying to get a banana because in Tsum Tsum land, bananas were overpowered as shit. And we ran into her mom and she was very upset that I was playing with her, to the point that she had me stop playing and watch some Disney movie with her instead. I didn't realize it at the time, but she must have thought I was doing something wrong by being a kid and playing with plushies, because I like to do that. Funny how that works. I've never been able to pray or shower with my eyes closed without feeling this black figure at my side. In my vision, it's an outline. It never does anything, to be fair. It's just there, just creeping the shit out of me. I don't know why. Speaking on the bathroom, I never liked any of it. And don't get me started on when I got older and my dad told me that I didn't need to shave because my hair was something to be happy with. I was becoming a man. I can never go to sleep in the quiet anymore. You saw nothing. I had to do it one too many times, and now if I'm not accompanied by someone in my ear or at my side, I wake up right after with my heart pounding and all nervous and shit. I don't know why. I once, when I was 13 and left to shop on my own at a department store, took a blouse with a killer flower pattern and these soft skirts that I had seen earlier and tried them on the dresser room. And I tried on the skirts, but they weren't right. Then the blouse, and I stood there in the mirror for 30 seconds looking at the way my shoulders jutted past the seams and the way the cut traced down my breasts, and I was just wondering and feeling before a rap at a door from the sales rep broke me out of my reverie and made me feel so fucking scared, I just stuffed the dirty clothes in the little seat in the dressing room and then ran and resisted the urge to cry. But I'm no stranger to that, if I'm honest, and it was just once. It meant something, I'm sure of that, but I have no idea if I've resolved it even now. I used to be very into reviewing the Bible as a piece of fiction until my dad heard me once talking about how I thought Luke had the best narrative of the Gospels, and he literally dragged me out of my seat and away from the kid I was discussing with to lecture me on how I should never let Satan enter my mind in those sorts of insidious, subtle ways. I saw the flies sucking on my food after that, and I had to wait until we got home to eat. We were there 4 more hours. I was once talking about how much it tired me going out to church every day to someone I worked with once before the construction that my dad would have me help at. And the guy stopped me after a moment and asked me the church's name, and I said, redacted, with 4 digits, 4 letters. And he looked it up, and he told me the leader had been convicted of raping little girls, and was I sure that I was okay in the church, and I had to walk away from him like they told us to when the world tried to deceive us. And I think my dad never paid him. I used to write stories after I stopped drawing, but I didn't do it in code or anything, so my mom found this notebook filled with stories about what was worrying me and occupying my mind stuffed between some clothes at the back of my drawer one day, and she wanted to reorganize my room. She left it out for my dad, and I swear to God I can still feel the sting of the leather at my sides and my arms when I tried to fight back, and thrice on my crotch when I gave up and waited for it to be over. It was the only time Dad ever did that, though. And he came to me later and told me it wasn't Christ's way to correct kids that way. He was flaw. He told me if I forgave him, he could take me to get ice cream at my aunt's, but it was okay if I didn't want to do that. I forgave him. Now outside the box. You see, there was nothing abusive all put together, despite what somebody might tell you about some of this shit. I never really suffered at the house. I was never touched. I was never hit besides the one time, and even that I was able to forgive my dad for it. Sadly, I think I was born like this. Footnote, and if right now is any indication, I'll die like this. Fucking failed, who would have known? It's now going into an addenda, which means we are returning to the chat for a little bit. For those who are newly in the chat, welcome. This is the anomalous broadcast from Site 42, a Dr. Sherman's office hours. We are currently reading SCP-9344. SCP-9334 is a false SCP-001 proposal called Kane's Proposal Ethylene. We will now return to the chat for a short general Q&A and catch up with the donations. Mark C., thank you for donating again to say, Dr. Sherman, this year at the annual Foundation baseball game, I will switch out the ball with SCP-018. Don't you dare. That thing gets hit hard enough, it is like a bullet. People will die if you do that. Ah, the desk is back from the hot mahogany wax massage. La-dee-da, glad you could join us. I want to know if SCPs have allergies. Intern Saunders, that is by a case-by-case basis. Intern Hunter Mark and Puppet Boy, yes. Bail if you need to. As I said, this is a very, very troubling article that we are reading. Please follow the content warnings for sexual abuse, for child abuse. There is some trans bigotry stuff in here, I'm sure. We've definitely gotten into the abuse side of things and the trans experience. Once again, something I personally can't relate to, but I don't fault an author for wanting to write about their experience. Hey, Charlemagne. What a good buddy. Agent Charlemagne is camera shy. It's hard to get him. But this time, we got him. Hotel California. No, we are not talking about that. That is the subject. What we are talking about is the subject matter of this very dark article that we're reading. It just happens to be somewhat related. Intern Mark C., thank you for donating again to say. Dr. Sherman, as an intern, let me ask an average intern question. Does keeping the masquerade really make our job easier? It feels like a hassle. Well, Intern Mark C., while difficult, it is important that we allow the civilian populace to live their happy lives. If we cause all of humanity to have to know that anomalies exist, the world is going to change rather radically. And so we do our best to keep them, we do our best to keep them in the dark. Remember from the original Men in Black, Agent K said it best, a person is smart. People are dumb, panicky, stupid animals, and you know it. If we let all of humanity know the anomalies exist, what do you think they're going to do? They're not going to take it well. They're going to riot. They're going to have torches and pitchforks all over the place. They're going to make our jobs very difficult. So yes, secrecy is of utmost importance. Intern Gabe, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Please get yourself some pixie sticks on your way past the commissary. Would a vehicle have to be contained even if the only anomalous thing about it was it never running out of gas? Yes. If someone had a vehicle that never ran out of gas, we would contain that. Because then they would have an anomaly, they would show it off to somebody, people would start talking about the amazing, no need to put gas in it car, and then we would have a breach of secrecy. So yes. I don't know, thank you for sending a star to the Containment Hazard Assessment team. You have now made them a 1-star team with an extra prestige rank, so you guys can make your ways up to 5-star again. Climb that mountain, people. So far, this article is all right, shy of the disturbing thoughts. Yeah, this one is particularly dark and serious subject matter. So remember, when we go back to reading this article, it is a rated R article. Follow the content warnings. Make sure that you are okay with this. If you're not okay with this, we'll see you in the next stream. It's fine. Cloud Wolf, thank you for sending a star to the Containment Hazard Assessment team. I am sure they will be proud to be a 2-star team now. Hotel California, Site 42 does have an Instagram. It is SCP Site 42. You can also go to our Site42 support beacon that is pinned in the chat. That link leads to all of our socials. So you can follow us wherever you want to follow Site42 other than YouTube, but there. All right, Site42 staff, let us bring it back to this SCP article. Let's continue down the line. We are in Addendum 001.1, Field Log, and there's a picture of a mobile home cited as Site-01. Let's see what we've got. Remember, content warning, sexual assault, child abuse, trans despair. Do you remember the first time I came over to the house? It was sweltering August. The type of heat where you could feel the fucking water in the air. The type of heat where I wished I could swim up into the sky with the heat lines. I remember telling you I felt a little worried about skipping the classes. And you were in my ear saying, it's okay, it's just one lesson. Don't worry so much or you're gonna fuck the whole day up, alright? Realistically, I was worried about the wrong thing. I thought I was going to be caught out academically, or I was going to get in trouble with my parents. But I should have been more worried about myself. That's something that can go into the description, really. Although I won't bother putting it there. I don't think I need you to be able to recount exactly who you are to someone else. You are what you are, and what you say you are isn't what you are. You understand? Pause. Personal footnote. So now our person who is talking to us in this article has called out the fact that this is, in fact, an SCP document, and they are talking about putting details in the description versus now in the field log. Interesting. Let's see what else we learn. I hope you do. I hope you understand as much as you understand the guy on the other end of the phone call that you take as we walk across the campus and act casual as I waltz past the guy who let me in. I hope you puzzle it out the same way you squint at your phone as you try to get the best of the new If You're Reading Drake on the stereo while cruising down the sun-baked gray road. I hope you thought about how it was all going to work as much as I did over the Casa Grande that you bought as a consolation when I realized that the nearest cheesecake factory was 2 hours away. I hope you were happy with yourself as we rolled around town looking for the road that led minutes out into the dense forest and emptied out into your trailer home, proud to have stayed standing in the volatile lot that was its only memory. I shake off the doubt that nipped at my side when I saw the trailer home as I enter it. You're clearly proud of showing me around because it's all organized, even if the smell of weed nips at me, mixing with all the Febreze you drenched the living room in, and even if the gray dust hides in tiny crevices. There's game consoles and disc shelves here, with a stand TV right up against a set of 2 recliners to make space for the hall. One of them is clearly more worn than the other. Damn, it's a neat place, I say. Yeah, I know, got all the good shit out for you. You turn on the PS4 and I have to admit the low whir of the fans is a little sexy. I'm not much interested in that though. I want to know how the boy from Lafayette and NFC lives, so I push on from the living room and see the kitchenette. Looks normal, I guess, except for the blunt in the corner of the countertop and the top cabinets with their doors unscrewed. You trying to get something to eat? You say as you come up behind me. I step back towards the kitchen and turn to you. Sure, why not? Let's see how long this next section is, because that section was short. Yeah, we'll do this as well, part of it. Not gonna lie, it's pretty impressive to make Hamburger Helper taste this good. Go fuck yourself, you say, laughing, still cooking the fajita. Really though, it's impressive to see you cook like this. Guac, rice, chicken, cheesy broccoli, and the recliner that I lay in is much more plush than I thought it'd be. My phone pings. It's a couple anime amino posts that people made on my shitty WLW sketch. I discard it for the PlayStation interface and the rugged thumbnail of Metal Gear Solid 5. Not my cup of tea, but you want me to experience it, and I'm open to try. Ain't as though I have anything better else to do this Tuesday afternoon. You come to me a few minutes later, your own plate set, and your P1 controller on the armrest. Up close, I can smell the stem scent of olive oil on you, and when I rest my hand on the controller, yours is firm, warm. I almost flinch away, but I decide to let you, and we're like this till you're done eating. You toss our plates, and then, rather than coming back immediately, I hear you pace to your room and stay there a while. Hey, what you doing, I ask. Just trying to get something, gimme a moment, you say, and I hear this huge shuffling as though you're picking up a bench or rearranging furniture or something. I lean over the armrest trying to get a good look into the hallway, then get up for real and follow you into your room when that yields nothing. I dash around. It's blue walls with white curtains, black metal frames with light flower paintings inside, green polyester bed covers over purple accented pillows. Room small as hell. I guess that makes sense given the whole trailer aspect of your house. But it looks neat for all the 2 seconds I peer inside before you ask me, "You want to help me with this?" And I snap to see you in the center, cables on the floor, struggling with a massive wooden turntable. Oh, sure. The thing luckily isn't too heavy, but I still feel a bit of sweat breaking out in my chest as I lean and slide my hands to the underside. You maneuver me to the living room and you place it down on the floor with a great thud, and I connect it to the wall. I yelp as the thing fucking sparks, the outlet lighting up with white as the plug slips in. You laugh. It's not gonna kill you, bro. Hey, if your shit is sparking with a vinyl player, I got the right to think I'm a die when I start playing Metal Gear. What the hell are you bringing this thing out for, I ask. You open the lid and undo the lock for the needle. Want to get some music going, that's all. Aight. What were you even gonna play on that thing? Probably some Guns N' Roses, it's just for the background. I hum for a while, trying to see if you'll take the bait and think I'm some kind of GNR hater. You don't. You sigh contentedly, saying, "Well, I'll see what I got," and make your way back to the room. I follow. Now that I'm here for a bit longer, I notice a couple more things. You have an exercise bench that's dirty, literally somehow folded up in the corner, a poster of some diamond art that's behind where the door goes, and a series of roll-out plastic containers under the bed. A floorboard is broken and partially lifted, showing rough wood underneath. In the very corner, a bookshelf with nondescript vinyl albums, plastic wrap shrunk over several of the sleeves, stands stacked for 4 shelves. You trying to look, you say without turning, thumbing through the mess. Maybe. The stuff stacked roughly by age, newest in the middle and fanning out to half-price books type shit at the very bottom and top. I scan the top. It's a lot of jazz and easy listening, fuck that. At the bottom, I see a thicker album and pick it up. There's no text on it, and the sides are completely black except for this little sketch of that one piece of glass that can be split light into a rainbow. Whatever it's called, it looks neat. You a Pink Floyd fan? You ask, amused. I know the name from somewhere on the radio. Probably one of those trips that my dad took the family on when we were little. He liked whatever song it was that I associate with his name, but despite my best efforts, I don't get it. Honest to God, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. The fuck? I feel a bit foolish as you take the album from me, make sure the disc is in, and then bring us both to the turntable where you set the disc down and tell me, "You're gonna love this shit, trust." I notice you start the needle a bit later into the disc, and you say that time should have been the intro to the disc, and you'll start up once the game finishes its opening. You shut the lights on everything but the fiery maroon and cold blue of the muffled TV screen and turn the player off. You ask if I want to take over the game, and to a bit of your chagrin, I take the controller enthusiastically, testing the triggers and the joysticks, feeling the weird shape and texture. It's been a while since I held a controller, period, and I've never held one like this one. Well, I've never been in someone else's house like this. I never ate from someone's plates without paying them or at least thanking them. And you didn't so much as expect either of those. At least not as far as I can tell. I've never seen someone want to accommodate another so much, and even if the air is still and the corners need some fall cleaning, you make it comfy here. I almost want to try and work with you to nail that floorboard down, paint over the scuff marks in the hall, hell, maybe even some kind of porch here. We can make a real house out of this trailer. I haven't known you outside this house in Lafayette and NFC, but something tells me you deserve it. The rest of the time is a blast and a blur and everything I could have wished for. It's laughing and intrigue and asking what the fuck Hideo is doing and why the fuck that bitch on Great Gig sung the best song in the world without saying a word. Not once did I even want to look at my watch, even though I put that and my one cross ring and amulet on to try and make you impress, make you see bling. I know you ain't buy it, but you did appreciate it, and realizing that you were thinking about me felt like an honor for some reason. I think that's why you took the timer blaring out 2:45 so hard. We were just getting settled, could have gone all night, and then Time herself had to remind us why we couldn't go into the night. It was a bit weird for me, sure, it should have been a bummer, but we already spent a bit more time than we should have anyways, and we're going to have more time to make it up. And honestly, I had forgotten what it was like to be tired of smiling. Even as we enter the car and make our way back just in time for me to show up fashionably late for my mom, I still have the remnants of a grin on my face. I walk faster, and after a bit I figure that I haven't looked nearly as much at the ground as I would normally. I'm too busy just absorbing what's around me. My fucking steps are a bit more confident. And as my mom brought me home and asked how my day went, I could finally tell her without lying that it was great. I got to see her smile, wondering in her eyes if my joys would last. Can you understand why that was so insane to me? I guess I can't blame myself for wanting more of you after that, even if in the end you were like Ethylene. Omnipresent, apparently unobtrusive, fundamental, still toxic. Audio sync. That should clean it up for the time being. Let's see this. I am returning to the chat since that segment is over. Why does he say pronoun so profoundly? Dr. Frogman, I did not realize that I did. It might just be a reader's term of speech. Who knows? The audio sync is almost like an old kung fu movie. Dr. Kung Fury Sherman in the house. Ha 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 ha. I do wish that the audio sync would stop doing that. We might need some tech upgrades to make that happen. Let me catch up on the donos here. Gabe, thank you for sending a litany of stars. You sent, it seems like, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 stars. Meaning the chat is still a 2-star team with 2 more prestige ranks. Gabe, you also sent 5 doubloons to the Containment Hazard Assessment team. I'm sure they appreciate some spending coins. And then Intern Mitchell, thank you for sending a star to the Containment Hazard Assessment team. They're now a 3-star team. Anyone here watch Karate Kid? I have watched the Cobra Kai TV series after catching up on the first movie, but I've not seen the whole series. I did watch the new Jackie Chan, was it Jaden Smith version? It was alright. Redfill Hawk, good to see you not at the end of a stream for once. Your luck is better today. What if we put SCP-682 on a leash and took it for a walk? Intern Thompson. That kills people. What's a few deaths to the happiness of an SCP? A waste of valuable manpower and resources. Stop it. You don't have to stop it, Agent Charlemagne. You can do whatever you want.
Yes, we start eating my spry babies.
Oh me, oh my. Let's not have a war between the desk and the goose. This can only go poorly. Redfail Hawk, thank you for your 9 months as a level 1 researcher here at Site 42. We appreciate your membership and service. Doc, have any funny stories? Lost my bestie today. Yeesh. And we're already in the midst of a very dark story. Ouch. I'm sorry to hear that. Funny stories. Funny stories. Do I have anything funny going on? Crap. Someone earlier was trying to boil one of the SCP al dente-Js. You know, they're screaming as they boil in water. It can be pretty entertaining since they're so annoying. So maybe that will entertain you. Maybe I'll allow that, if only to bring your spirits up. We have plenty of other pasta. Annoying, racist, talking pasta. I can show you a very whiny baby. Agent Charlemagne desires the attentions. Hello, buddy. Yes. Yes, you need everyone's attention at once. That's the way of the world.
Him is very loud, purr, pussycat.
Yes, you can hear the motor running over here if the microphone is good enough. Now you're just lounging. Now you're just lounging.
Him's making air biscuits.
Boop. I've been booped. Redfail Hawk, I'm glad we were able to cheer you up in a way. Take care of yourself. Intern Mark C, thank you for donating again to say. Dr. Sherman, what is your favorite word? Intern Data Expunge is attempting to write slam poetry and needs a word. Favorite word? Favorite word? Today, my favorite word is yuck. Find a way to put that into your slam poetry. Dr. Frogman, gazebo is a pretty good word, but it's a very bad monster to face in D&D. The terrible, horrible gazebo. Ooh, that's a hell of an encounter. Intern Thompson, thank you for what I believe is your maybe first donation of today's stream. Yes, so grab yourself some nachos on your way past the commissary. Doctor, he is the cure. 049 is the cure for what? Not being a zombie? Yeah, thank you. I don't want that cure. All right, Site 42 staff, let's return to SCP-9344, fighting our way through this is my JAMCON article. Remember the trigger warnings. Sexual abuse content, child abuse content, just all sorts of fucked up shit. This is rated R. Remember that. We're moving on to Addendum 001.2, Containment Actions Log. It has a picture of a gas station, Site 19 under the effects of SCP-001. So definitely something is messing with this documentation in a way. Somehow, despite the dampness and dankness and neck breathing of all the bigger guys here, I worry about you first when I catch you in the club. It was a hell of an adventure to get here. I had to download this app Uber, realize that it didn't take cash, take my ma's card, add it to verify, then pray someone to be working on it when I needed. Someone came on at 5, which was hella early, and once we met up, I told her that she could drop me off at the nearby Casa Grande. I had to wait there for damn near 2 hours before setting out on the 40-minute walk to the abandoned place. Pretty sure I got bit at least thrice on the way there by whatever weird shit hid in the weeds, but it was worth it to make it there. There ain't a name for it, I think, but either way, the street boxing scene of Perry, Florida is most definitely alive and well. Okay, so this is all Florida man and Florida woman behavior, and Florida they behavior. So be aware, that's a content warning in and of itself. Church is a good time, nights are a good time, anytime really when no one's going to ask about the noise coming from an otherwise dead gas station is a great time. Honestly, I don't know why I expected you to skip out on the event. You always loved to be out there, making sure people knew you so that they wanted product. You'd be at the top of their head. But either way, I get an instant shit-eating grin when I catch you at the back. You practically jump over these fuckheads crowded around the register to get to me. I thought your parents didn't let you go anywhere. You scream in my ear as the too loud Dolph blasts over Bluetooth speakers, sending "The only thing I trust is this pistol and these slugs" out past the abandoned facade and almost to the trailers nearby. They're on a date with God right now, I say curtly, lowering my bandana and stuffing it in my back pocket. Footnote. Not like it'll help if they really wanted to get me. The truth of it is they don't. God bless them for that. I'd like to say the more truthful thing. Dad's disappeared again because one of his friends said that the Divine was out in Orlando or something, and my mom has to chase after him. But it ain't gonna bring down the vibe. You smirk at me and then hold up a bottle of Modelo to the viejo that cleans up after us, nodding as he holds up 3 fingers. You're not gonna want to be sober for this shit, bro, you tell me. I nod. I wasn't planning to be. I just want to be here with you, do what you do. The type of shit good partners do. You point vaguely left, and after a moment, I find an ice chest with a bunch of masked men around it. Don't worry, I remind myself, because people ain't gonna bother some guy they just want to get a cold one, but I still feel uncomfortable as I see the men talking at the sides and negotiating at the center, and the ends of the rings are already up. The bottle ain't too bad, honestly. I thought it was gonna be nasty, watery shit, and it was, but I would have thought it knocked me out or something. It just feels hot, acidy. I look at you like I'm hot shit as I down it in one go. You know they ain't getting to the fights for like 15 minutes, you say stoically once I finish choking the shit down. I snap at you with a look and you laugh and tell me, come on, lighten up a bit. Bro, how much you even weigh right now? I say as I look to the far end of the building and see the biggest guys. 4 or 5 inches taller, 30 pounds on you. How the fuck? I'm gonna do good in this bracket, you watch. I wish I could say I believed you, but as I saw you glance at them, damn. Even if they don't make you go fight them, still, the thought of your ass on the floor so publicly like this makes me think. That was a short section. This next one is a short section. We'll keep going. Shirts and sneakers come off and gloves go on as 2 guys get into the center, one with 3 bands and one with a camera. The viejo fiddles with something in the back. Before I can ask what the hell they're doing this time, the lights go off and some neon goes on, ringing the whole shop in purple and red and blue. What's up, YouTube? Y'all already know what's up. Y'all know the drill. This is my 3rd video, and y'all asking for more fights, and we got 'em. Everyone cheers as the cameraman turns around to everyone. I barely dodge the camera's eye, pulling my bandana up over my face for a few moments. The announcer doesn't stop, speaking so quickly I can hardly catch what he says. So we got a bunch of brackets up, and everyone's gonna have a chance to win $800. We doing heaviest to lightest for this one, aight, and we only doing a minute on the clock for all these fights, so the knockout's gonna come fast. We got 20 fights queue up. You all know the drill now. Let's get to it. The crowd cheers again, and 2 massive guys step forward. One of them I could swear is one of my friend's dad, looking like he just came after a set of drinking beer in front of the TV. The other is a shirtless tan man, a barbed wire tattoo around his bicep, and a burning heart across his pecs. They put their hands up, the cameraman steps to the right corner of the ring, leaning on the pole they put up, and the announcer counts down, clapping 3, 2, 1, 60 seconds, let's go. The fight's quick, but not because either of them went easy. For all the fights, really, the guys get into it. I don't ever think I could fight that hard for fun, honestly. It makes me wonder if I'm a fucking pussy or something. But this one was a good first one. Shuffling back and forth, the dad clearly more nervous, he gets pressed in the bottom right with blocked strikes and aggressive steps. The other guy gets one in on the side. He gets punched hard in the stomach for overstepping his bounds. The dude retaliates full fucking force, punching left and hitting arm until the dad gets the chance to sock his up right in the jaw. He stumbles, and the moment of unsure footing makes it over. Fists come down on the poor fuck and batter him to the ground, where he's out for the 3 count. It's like that for a lot of fights. God bless everyone that tries this shit, but no one really knows how to do it right. I attribute some of it to the beer and some of it to the club, but you get up there and start lurching forward, try and bait shit out, or you try to have some DDR-ass footwork, you better expect a well-earned strike to the solar plexus, if you're lucky. It almost makes me want to fight myself, even though I know I'd be the kid in the black shirt with the dreads. I'd be like the kid in the black shirt with the dreads that comes up a few fights in, swinging so hard to the neck that he takes his fucking self with him. All of it sort of melds into my head at some point, swings and rounds and swigs of Pepsi and lemonade until it gets to you. I'd almost forgotten you were due to go up, but you smile at me as you come to the center and face a guy a couple pounds heavier than you. We got this, you want to tell me. Your opponent is red-eyed, antsy, and as though he's done the exact opposite of you and taken something to help him in the fight. You're still confident as the referee and the cameraman count down, and as both of them karate chop your hands and give you the go-ahead. I'm actually inclined to agree with you. Maybe it's the lean from the viejo talking, but in between the first 2 swigs I saw you play the long game. You were going to let this antsy motherfucker KO himself, and he almost did the way he charged after you like a fucking bull. You got some good strikes in as well, but he kept going, and at last your footwork wasn't enough to save you. Both of you went down to the floor, sure, but when the referees called time, he didn't get up, and he sure as hell wasn't going to let you. The people saw and they pulled out their phones and they hollered, "This guy's trying to take it all the way." How fun, see the sweat flying off him as he wordlessly goes on and on, longer than any sane person would want to go. And when the referee begins to wonder, way too many seconds late, if he really is trying to kill you, then get even tighter around him, he kept it going for the Vine. Keep it going for the Snapstagram, sure. See how his dread's flying all over the place? He looks like he's in a fucking mosh pit by the way the 2 of you are on the ground, and the Op John's getting tired, and our winner here just keeps going. Till at last the big camera goes off and the hoots of "that's enough" get deaf behind them. And you aren't awake when the 3 guys ostensibly making sure everything go well finally intervene. And the winner's yelling, "That one's for the homie you locked up, you fucking bastard. I'll fucking kill you, bitch ass for him. I'll kill you, bitch ass for Big Pat." And there's a great deal of entertainment all around, with some of the drunker guys running to let off the infectious energy in the air, and a couple of the half-sober ones lucid enough to help me pick you up off the ground and make sure he didn't finish the fucking job. Your pulse is erratic, weak, but it's going at least. And I look at the slowly dying guy, now leaning against the wall and looking at you with death, and I look back, only weakly able to whisper, "What the fuck is wrong with you?" Let's see what this next section is before I continue. Yes, we'll do this next section and then I'll return to the chat. You come awake about 20 minutes after the beating, when the party started up quieter and the only people who really stayed hype were the ones that won 800. When your body draped half over me, I come out of the fake Valeros to a new low sun. Hard to believe an hour and a half went and came like that, especially when it feels like it's been days since, with the slamming, the waves of everything that came over me in there. Everyone be filing out now, and the herds of people heading off to the houses next by to fetch their cars look solid, pumped. Most of them are going to be back, that's for damn sure. We make our own walk, except it's more towards the forest. You're alone with a car out there, surrounded by new F-150s, sans toolboxes, and old Toyotas with wood screwed over busted windows. No one passes by here, something that kind of surprises me, till I remember just how small the town is. This is our secret, ain't it? Let's say 70 people came here, and there's going to be 40 new ones next meeting, 100 the next. Shit grows to encompass the whole place pretty fast, don't it? It's a good secret, too. No wonder no one wants to bust it. Would be almost as bad as people trying to bust us, really. And at least it makes the shamble across the road, your body half on me, a little more tolerable. You're not finna drive, you slur in my ear. You're a dumbass motherfucker if you think you're gonna hit the road, I say as we step into the trampled grass that makes up the forest path. We walk for a bit, you giving up on trying to appear strong or whatever, until we're close enough to the car to unlock it with the keys. The flash of yellow wakes you up. How you gonna explain to your parents all this shit? I don't know. The frank reply surprises me, but I guess I better say you don't got a plan right now. We will get a plan, though. Tonight was too much, too everything to be a one-time thing. And you're too hot to be just a best friend, even if I don't know either of us really pretended to be. I blush as I think it. I'ma just say it's the beer, sweat, and heat talking for now. My head pounds as we enter the car, and I have a mad dash to turn off the light. That shit in the dying sun's like a flashbang from Michael. I reach my hand out for the keys. I thank God you aren't too proud to hand them over, as I hop in the front seat and you lay out across the back. You're the fucking best, Zach, but I gotta get on point. I pause for a moment before stabbing the ignition. You want to take the car? I'll drive myself home. There ain't no other way to do it. Fine, but you're doing it from my place. You throw your hands up. Bitch, that's fine with me. How far are your place anyways? I think I feel a little at home here, and that kind of throws me off for 4 long seconds. Probably like 10 to 15 minutes if we go now. You shout. Then get moving, bro. It takes a moment to get used to how stiff your steering wheel is, but I figure as I head out, there ain't no one heading my parents' way at all. Everyone on that side's a good Christian, I guess. I gotta be wrong on that, but I ain't gonna be the one to promise my mom and dad, you know? I see you poke up sometimes in the rearview mirrors and make the intersection and head out across the last/first bridge. Crocodiles and mosquitoes and itchy grasses, proving that the night's doing just as good as the day. You think about talking to me, I think, but you keep deciding against it until I have enough and ask the nigh-on lightless bowels of the forest, what the fuck are you doing back there, babe? I don't know what you told me, but I settled back into my seat. I was happy with it then. Even if it was so shushed, it was killed. Under the charring sky and rising moon, I guess anything a man says is more profound, more whatever, than you need it to be. I need you to be mine, I realized with a start. I never knew it until then, but there was no fucking future where I wouldn't be with you, married to you, fucking you. Nights driving giving me plenty of revelations, but this is the biggest one yet. Big enough where I gotta ask you something to go check if it's real. John? Yeah. You mind if I come over to the house more? You ain't gotta ask me that. You know the answer, baby. Satisfied, I slouch into the seat. When I pull up and see my parents there, I feel fine for once, because I got a new family member, and he's the best one I know yet. And when you ask to see me and you lean in for a kiss, I ain't got no issue pulling away, even if it takes my breath away to do it here, and I whisper in your ear after, not where my fucking parents can see, and you say, you gotta live life sometime. When I drift into the night, assuaged by my mom's confidence that I deserve a good break, it's you I wish I could see right before bed, and it's you I manifest under my covers, purple and red regardless. I think, at that exact moment, in the wind and the stars, that we're destiny. End of addendum. I am now returning to the chat. We are now approximately 1/3 through this article. Whew! I'm not saying I don't like it. I'm not saying it's bad, but I am saying, I'm still wondering if this is actually an SCP. Wacky Clown, we're on SCP-9344 right now. I am wondering when this is going to get to being an SCP, why this format is the way it is. That wasn't as bad as the other sections, thankfully. Yes, that was way less on the abuse and just a punk fight club in Florida. So as I said, we are 1/3 through that article. We are returning to chat for a little bit. Yo, one of the big voice actors here at Confinement made an SCP yesterday. It's pretty good. Intern Wacky Clown, is this an SCP article on the database? Who's your voice actor? More details. Intern Dialga, you keep talking about a Palkia. What is a Palkia? We don't know what that is. Is that an SCP thing I don't know about? Oh my, there's homophobia and transphobia in this one. Yes, Intern Space Monkey, this does have homophobia and transphobia in it. You're telling me Palkia is a Pokemon. Okay, then Intern Dialga, please stop yelling about a Pokemon in our SCP Foundation chat. We are not containing any Pokemon at this time. SCP-1911-J, it's a short read. It was made by Sandy Soda Wilson's VA friend of mine. Interesting, interesting. People can check that out at their convenience. I do agree, though. I'm wondering if this is an SCP or just a tale. Intern Hunter Mark, it is filling an SCP slot. It is an SCP. And based on its rating right now, at a plus 33, it is liable to stay an SCP. Now, how it fits into the grand scheme of the site, how the format screw is justified, that is yet to be seen. Because, reminder, early in this, it linked to SCP-000, which has Pattern Screamer lore. And a lot of Pattern Screamer articles do tend to be a little format screwy. I'm just trying to figure out what the anomaly is, the writer or the other dude. Detective mode time, I guess. Yes, indeed. We have had no idea of what the actual anomaly here is. Just the life story of someone who has had a bad time. It's a lot of reading, taking a lot of breaths in and out, so. Hey. Dr. Sherman, as I am on the researching stage of creating SCP, where do I write its tales, and is Skippy an entity that helps me write? So Skippy, remember Skippy is just a character on the wiki like anything else if you're talking about writing SCPs. What I would do is I would write the, I would read the resource and guides on the SCP wiki for information on writing a SCP at this rate. So far, I see a small connection to the Pattern Screamers because of the fight stuff and repeating negative phrases, but seems like a mind control. Well, we're in the body of this fight guy. So this story is being told from the perspective that we are Fighty McFighterson, John. So I wonder what that connection is to this anomaly. Ho, 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 ho. Alright. Let's hop back into this, see if we can get some bloody context. So let us return to this anomaly. The next section is a singular section. Here we go. Ready. Steady. The next shows a parking lot. The next picture is a parking lot. This is Addendum 3 testing log. Site of incident redacted. 10 p.m. and the sun is long dead. The stars are bright in the heart of Florida. As I lie next to you, paralyzed and nauseous, I imagine, cynically, my hopes that I haven't made the worst mistake ever and that I didn't deserve it being drowned out in their resplendence. And I pray to God they aren't. Mom's supposed to be out with Dad in Orlando, and she is trusting that I'll do as I'm told and go to school and do well in the few days they're away. I hope they didn't leave any cameras or mechanisms or whatever to track me, because almost as soon as I saw her car disappear for the second time over the horizon, I was there calling you, and I got to try 3 glorious days of living with the man I might love. It was curious, really. I felt like the shift was going to be bigger than it actually was, or maybe you wanted to make sure we weren't more of a known property than we already were. But even the trip in your car to Tampa was furtive. Something like that. You didn't want to tell anyone outside of the guys where you were going, and you told them you were going because you were trying to get an apprentice electrician gig. I think they knew it was bullshit, but you walked all confident out into the safe house, and when we hit the road, you answered by prodding of, "So where are we going to go, and what are we going to do if my parents come home earlier?" with a flippant, "We'll figure it out." I was buzzed and horny enough to believe it. God created us so we could make skylines. I honestly believe that. How else do you explain why they look so fucking good, why even the babies have to look up from their maracas and shit to pay respect to the 30-floor titans of banks and companies and municipalities? That's the sight I look forward to, and that sight I excitedly point out to you when 2 hours slide by and the car climbs up I-75 at nearly a 45-degree angle. The January noon means that the fireflies of fluorescent lights inside the glass towers slowly activate as we go through concrete arteries that were surrounded at 4 p.m. by enough of humanity's buzzing and flashing to satisfy 4 weeks of winter without us. We snake our way through concrete arteries, your irritation bubbling over sometimes until I give you a kiss on the cheek or a soft shake of the shoulders, just enough to keep you level-headed in the gridlock. Several minutes go by like this, and as we finally touch down on the ground, you turn down the coal for a second. I perk up and you tell me, "Got a nice surprise for you where we're staying tonight. I think you're really gonna love it." You say, your smirk making my heart leap even more than the streaks of light driving by. The overpasses disappear and the sky gains a radio star or two, and then I see it. The Ashbury Hotel is tall enough to block out a radio tower and wide enough to act as a wedge between the trees. I can't compare it to any other building I've seen. The glass towers of downtown are amazing, but this one, with its granite face and comical sign inviting neon lights, feels older, maybe monumental in some strange and beautiful way. "What do you think?" you do your best to casually say. "That's fucking insane," I squeak out. It's $300 to stay for 2 nights, so it ain't the worst, but damn, you are gonna love it. You're gonna see what else I got planned for tomorrow. It's also really fucking cool. You say as you make your way off the road into the parking lot of the Titan. We spend a little bit trying to get ourselves fitted, and then it's time for us to make our way out. The air is oppressive, bringing out the sweat on my forehead almost as soon as I step out the car and pop open the back to get your shit. "What you got tomorrow?" I say as we make our way across the large lot. "You'll see," you say sing-song. The inside of the hotel's white tile, beige accent, brown rugs, and black seats. I try them out. I don't think I've ever been in a more comfortable sinking chair in my whole fucking life. There's a couple month-old magazines on a glass coffee table near me, but I watch you instead as you ask for a room for your little brother and yourself. I'm sure you have a whole spiel prepared, but the receptionist hands you the key card with no fuss. You giggle about it as we make our way down the hall and up the elevator to room 304. Room 304. There's 2 massive beds, better than the ones I have at the house, and a nice plasma TV with a fire stick glued to it. There's an AC unit hanging out the window, hidden behind 2 fluffy white curtains, and another one of those soft-as-a-cloud chairs that you push to the corner. I lay down the backpack with our changes of clothes, my tablet, your cash, and some cookies you made specifically for the occasion. You say you'll go to the bathroom, and I take the moment to breathe. It hits me now. If my mom is suspicious about what's happening to me, and it was all a plot on her end, we're dead. If anyone cares enough about me outside my parents to ask where I've gone, we're dead. If anybody thinks we're doing something wrong, that we're not just trying to escape reality for a few days, we're dead. The whole thing is more fragile than the glass at the Ashbury cut around the HVAC, more fragile than I feel right now as I sit up on the bed, clutching the hotel remote, trying and failing to breathe and stop sweating and stop thinking. It takes a few moments for you to register how I'm feeling when you step out of the restroom shirtless. To your credit, you came to my aid immediately, bringing whispered promises of don't worry, these days are for us and no one else can tell us we're fucking and cutting up. And I'll make sure your parents can't do anything to you. I promise that I'll do better than them. It was enough for me to choke down my shaking and look at you, my face scrunched up in the adult panic of relationships destroyed and disappointment from people that are better and greater than you, and uncertainty. Pure uncertainty. An uncertainty that stays even when you press your pecs against me from behind and do your best to excite me about the 2 awesome days ahead. Eventually I can get out, I'm sorry, I'm worried. You say it's no big deal, but I look in your eyes, and they're straight dead as you sit by me and hold me in your arms. I sniffle a couple times, and I count out my pulses the way you taught me to until I break away from you. Sure, now I won't collapse. The rage behind you disappears, your perfect vacation back on track. I try to make myself happy with that. If your boyfriend is happy, you should be happy for him. But it's all I can manage to get to the other bed, spread myself over it, and ask you to put on some show so I can forget that attack of the conscience. You rise too. I sit up, wondering if you want anything. Just past you on the TV, an old nature doc plays. It's one of Attenborough describing the species of the Alleghenies. I only remember it because I saw it a fuck ton when I was little, and seeing it makes me think of those days more wistfully and nostalgically than I really should. You sit next to me on the bed, pushing me a little closer to you. I try to scoot away because I'm not really feeling a hug right now, but you insist, so I let you. Look, baby, I know you got a lot of reason to worry. I do. I want you to try to forget about it, okay? Can you do it for me? I'm not sure if I should stop. See, you can relax. It'll help with the best part of the night anyways. He hugs me tight, and it takes us both down onto the bed. He's barely lucid enough to dim the TV, though I'm sure if I wanted to, I could still hear an interesting fact about Osprey or something. I wonder a bit about what you mean, but I'm sure it's no biggie. He's right after all. The whole point of this shit's to de-stress. It'll be best if I can just focus on enjoying these couple of days with him. So wait a minute. Is it him or is it you right now? I'm a little confused about the pronouns. Is it you or is it he right now? Also, give me just a quick second. This is an adult community, but I want to see if I'm going into reading pure smut here for a moment. We're in the hotel bed after all. I'm checking first. Alright. It's implied, but it's not written, it seems. So let's finish the job. Damn, you excited for it, ain't you? He comes a bit closer to me. It's exciting and well. I know what he means now, but it's too early for this. I need to get used to this place. I need to get used to the fact that I'm with him. Damn. He runs his fingers through my hair. I wish I could say I liked it, but at some point I just want to rest. I'd tell John that if I knew this wasn't his rest as well. I ain't gonna take from him, not when he paid for all this. It's ambitious and it gives me vertigo, but it's ours and John's. Well, he's a good guy. I like him all right. I want to give him the best of myself. I feel cold at the idea that it includes the rest of myself, but it won't stop. I got virtues going for me, and I'm determined to keep one of them, gratitude. Somewhere far away from my numb body and my even breathing and my stiff heart, the TV says that osprey are a symbol of beauty. They are coveted and loved by poets and singers across the world. There's evidence of them being quoted in shit as far back as the Romans. I would want to hear more, but I don't feel like it. I feel like I'm held down by 170 pounds of disgusting shit called my body. I don't feel like anything as he hooks his fingers around my sweatpants waistband. He's about to tug him down when that chill grows, so much so that before I realize it, I'm telling something to him. Wait, I take a sharp breath. I look at him for a moment, and I see how red and ready he is. If it was any other time, I'd want to match his vibe, but I need to know that this ain't a mistake. Somehow the wild look in his eyes isn't helping me. Please, don't you want to get some sleep first, I ask. Are you sure? Just something quick, that's all, he says. John makes it sound simple. He always fucking does that. I don't know. I turn my head a little and catch his gaze. It's steady and it's cold and it's hard. I feel his hands at my side, encouraging me, up and out, lower and kneeling. And I have to do my best not to shiver at them, and I just try. Footnote. He said I did it good, that it was the best time he ever had. Guess I'll trust him on it, because I sure as hell didn't feel good doing it. You'll love it, Zach. All you gotta do is follow my lead. I did, and I don't like thinking about Tampa anymore. End of section. Returning to the chat. For those who have just joined us, this is SCP-9344, the very, very long JAMCON entry we've been avoiding reading for a while because things have been busy. And there's lots of content warnings. Lots of content warnings. How is this story in SCP? Intern Mav. We are trying to figure that out. The SCP Wiki is known for having format screws. Stories that don't seem to fit the format, but then for some reason it makes sense. The anomalies mess with the documentation, for instance. That's a very popular one. So trying to figure out how this is actually an SCP is part and parcel of what we're going through here. The Last Guest, thank you for sending 5 stars to the Containment Hazard Assessment Team. They are now a 3-star team with another prestige rank. This is crazy. How does a story get contained? Reminder that this is tagged, or at least linked to an article with pattern screamers involved. There's a lot of format screws when pattern screamers are involved. We haven't finished it. We have definitely not reached anything that justifies it being an SCP, but we don't know if something will come and show it that this makes sense as an SCP. And since we read every other article in the contest, I am doing my best to get through this and see if it has a justification. Reminder, I typically enjoy shorter stories in the first place. So, this is a bit of a stretch for my attention span, especially since so much of this has been seemingly just autobiographical trauma dumping. What inspired you to become an SCP Foundation content creator? Well, funny story was that I did not mean to. I was putting voiceover work demos onto a personal YouTube channel, and because SCP is Creative Commons, I read SCP stories as those vocal demos. And while that got me jobs as a voiceover artist, it also got views on YouTube. I did not realize people would listen to them. And so I made more readings and got deeper into it, and here we are 11 years later. What would happen if we send SCP-682 into a black hole? Intern Bob. If we shoot 682 into space for any purpose, it breaks the ship it breaks out of the ship containing it. It then grows solar sails and flies back to Earth to torment us more. SCP-049, thank you for sending a star to the Containment Hazard Assessment Team. They now have a 4-star rating. Will we ever know the real SCP-001? Intern Mav. That's a good question. Who knows? I highly doubt it. Whatever happened to those feature SCP artist videos? Intern Journey of Games. What are you talking about? Featured SCP artist videos. Are you talking about Fan Art Friday? Because that's on Friday. You know, tomorrow. I meant authors, look at your first short. Oh my gosh, I haven't done that in ages. Yeah, that's just something I did some for funsies. I thought it was a fun little project to highlight some authors. It's a lot of work to go through people's works, get their highlights, interview them. And so I don't do it as often, and just because I keep really busy these days. Friday's tomorrow. Wait, it's Friday in ours. I think we're in different time zones. That's probably correct, intern Cheesy Donuts. Intern Ellis, I wish I could donate. I would give you 100, but I don't have any money or available card. Well, hey, do not worry about that. Remember, the SCP community understands starving artists. We are a arts community, after all. So as long as you're helping out as a member of Mobile Task Force Psi-42, codenamed the Signal Boosters, making sure to like, share, subscribe, comment, chat, make fan art, memes, edits, out-of-context compilations and such. Not just for Site-42, but also for the SCP Foundation authors and artists, as well as filmmakers, game devs, animators, merch makers, and podcasters. Keep spreading us in the algorithm, help us out like that, and you will be a great help, Mobile Task Force Psi-42, codenamed Signal Boosters. I can make edits. Well, Tall Sniper, that's a good skill to have. And it can be very useful to the Foundation. Why can't we just throw a thermonuclear bomb at 682? Have you read the 682 document, intern Enzo? We talk about why we won't do that. Intern Junk, no, we cannot cover Peanut in pictures of the Shy Guy. You do not have permission to do that. Alright, let's take this back to SCP-9344. Let's see if we get some more insights. This is Addendum 001.4. Cross-testing for characters redacted. There's a picture of two houses at night. Subtitle, non-applicable. Remember, rated R article. Sexual abuse, child abuse. Lots of trigger warnings. Here we go. You couldn't ever admit your flaw to anyone, could you? I remember one of the last days I spent with you near the end of March, when the air was readying to push sweltering and the grasses grew at breakneck pace, making the sidewalks fucking impossible to walk down without either being stung or looking like a lunatic. You were worrying about the cash. It was disappearing between payments to the Chapo, who would hook you up with the mass amounts of cough meds you needed for cooking, and the $2,000 you had to put down for Steven when he got picked up for coke on the 35. You were blowing up my phone with texts like, "Holy fucking shit, I want to kill this motherfucker, he's cock-blocking me," and "Get the directs from the second counter, Steven needs that shit." I was able to deal with the worries till you got off of work, but as 2 came and I looked out to the clear blue sky and saw your car speeding down the road, kicking up dust from a truck that had dropped a fuck ton of it the day prior, I felt this wave. I needed to get the fuck out of here, I thought, or I was going to either die or deserve worse. It stayed there, monumental, as you came out and I entered into your arms, hugging you tight and nuzzling myself for a second in your chest, knowing you love that shit and knowing it would be good to help you chill the hell out for a bit. I fought the coldness at the back of my head as you broke off the hug and grabbed the pills and told me to get in the car because you could drop me off at my mom's house on the way to Stevens. And was my supply good, or did I want a bit more smokes because I won't pick you up for a few days? I had to say yes, even though I didn't really feel like getting high. You shoved a Ziploc bag in my hands that I didn't look at as I made my way to your car, now cleaner and suspended a little lighter, a little higher. You had painted it blue a few days ago, but the laminate already appears aged and worn. There's a new crack in the back window. If I didn't know better, I would have said it was probably one of those pebbles that bounce up on the road. You punch in the radio, low volume, and set the shitty white boy country of Froggy FM's Keith Urban. Something going on, I ask, watching you drive stiffly and angrily. Ain't shit. Like, I gotta deal with this bullshit. Guy can't even flush without help from someone else. I don't even know what happened to him. You gotta deal with Steven first, or you gonna... Nah, I gotta talk to this motherfucker right now. He's not gonna get away with fucking me like this, and he finna know that. You look at me as a white car passes us on the road, doing your best to put on a weak smile. I ain't gonna do nothing but talk, you big pussy. I'm telling you, you worry too much. Okay, I'm worried for a reason, bro. I hope you understand that. I cower closer to the window, watching the trees turn to vast plains, livestock and electric poles dotting the yellow-green landscape rhythmically as far as the eye can see. You chew on my words for a bit, responding curtly before you turn the volume up on the toned-down electric guitar. You know, anxiety's bad for you. I know you're worried about if I'm going to beat his ass and he's going to try and kill me or whatever, but you got to trust the process. There's a process for everything. I try to tell you my anxiety follows a pretty fucking logical and normal process, at least in my opinion, but you speed up and my concern is lost in the 10 miles of 90 miles per hour between your place and Stevens. Section check. Alright, there's a lot of small sections. I think I'll do... That's 2-3 sections for this. So I'll do one more and call it a half. We park the car on the gravel that cut through the forest. You step out and gesture towards a tramped patch of grass. Are you fucking serious? Escapes me as I peer through the gaps in the trees to Steven's place. A vague blue spot in the distance. Hey, ask Steven that, alright? This is the place he's staying at, and I guess his P.O. didn't have a problem with it. I pace towards the grass and look down the path that carves through the forest. Patches of mud and hacked bushes illuminating the way to his place. I imagine they're like lanterns in a dark castle, even though the sun beats down on us and carves through the trees to make it twilight under their shade. I pause at the threshold to the forest, the blue spot resolving to something like a barn, one of the stereotypical images of it, in fact, with the white trim and the huge gates on the bowl roof. Why the fuck do I have to give him the Direx? Your reply comes far away and irritated. Because I got a little beef with him, I don't want him to bitch at me about it. You're helping someone you got beef with pass a drug test. God fucking damn, just do it. I swallow and jog through the path. To its credit, it's much shorter than I thought it was, and before long I find myself at the door to the blue barn. The porch is massive, with metalwork of bullhorns and cockatiels looking down on smooth, faux rustic rocking chairs. I feel stupid even standing here, honestly. What the hell do I have to bother with this for? It should be you doing this. So I rap hard on the door, wanting to get this over with as soon as possible. Nothing. Now I'm really fucking pissed. I rap twice, thrice, and after a moment I hear, "Coming!" and some shuffling on the floor. I leave the bag on the nearest chair and step off the porch. I pace for a moment, then I hear the lock being undone. I turn to see the figure in the doorway. I don't know what I was expecting to see as the door opened, but it's not this. Steven's long, messy, mushroom head type cut is shaved so smoothly that I wonder for a second if he'd gone bald. The whiteness of his exposed scalp looking sickly, cancerous. His face is leaner, the gray of recent stubble accentuating his sharp chin and his hollowed out cheeks. He is lankier, and I swear he's a few inches taller than he used to be, though perhaps that's the thick black sandals that he's wearing. Weirdest of all, he looks down as he opens the door, his body refusing to acknowledge that I'm even there. What the fuck did they do to you is the only thing that goes through my mind as I watch him take a few breaths. He speaks first. Oh, hello. You brought the flush pills? Yeah, bro, they're on the chair. He looks around, spots them, and continues to look around. He narrows his eyes at me once he finishes scanning the land. You came here with John, ain't ya? I don't know what to respond. Stephen's not stupid, despite how shabby he appears. I decide to nod. Hopefully it's the least incriminating thing I can do here. He sighs and looks past me toward the exit of the pass, towards nothing in particular. Good. Where the fuck is John, man? Jesus. A wind picks up, throwing a bit of pollen in my face. I sneeze. When my eyes open again, I see Stephen halfway down the porch, holding the bag I left in one hand and blocking out the sun with his other. He calls out, John, I'm talking to you, bitch, from closer up. I can see that his eyes are red and his shirt is wet with sweat. What the hell's your problem, man? You say, coming into the clearing. I take a couple steps back as Stephen shambles towards you, your baseball cap low over your eyes. What you mean, what's my problem? He shoots back, looping his thumbs around his bleached jeans belt loops. You let out an exasperated clip of a laugh. Bitch, look at yourself. You look like you've been in county for 2 years. You fucking flaw, bro. Stephen narrows his eyes. He slouches, looking casual. I can't decide if it's an act, and neither can you apparently, because you get closer to Stephen. I think we both flinch when Stephen digs in his pockets, and I swear to God, I can see you visibly crack as Stephen pulls out a crumpled 10. Look, that's for the flush pills, okay? Leave me the hell alone. I don't need your advice on how to get my shit together. You take a sharp breath as I approach the two of them, assured that nothing terrible is going to happen. I can see you fake writing on the side of his leg, right out of Stephen's view, even though both of us know what that means. You break the silence with a quiet, I'm not the one looking like I've been on meth 10 years. Stephen shakes his head laughing. You power through your spiel. Dude, how about I bring some Casa Grande? Let me do that, aight? Stephen suddenly leans back, shakes his whole chest as he coughs twice or thrice, and spits out red mucus. Maybe, he blurts out as he wipes his mouth, but I just want the food. I don't need you talking to me or anything, telling me I'm flaw. He looks away, the bitterness of the word fucking him up. Okay, just give me a bit, man. You look at me as you pat down your pockets. I look back with pleading eyes. You can't leave me with this green bastard, I whisper. You click your tongue. He's not green, he's like in a phase or something. You pull your keys out. From the distance, your car blares out the unlock tone. He's fucking crazy, John. That's why you gotta stay. Make sure you don't get more crazy, babe. I have no choice to protest. As you say it, you turn around and start jogging. By the time I click my jaw off the floor, you're already starting the car. End of section. Returning to the log. So, how are we feeling as this continues, chat? We are approaching the halfway point of this article at 2 hours and 20 minutes of this stream. Good Lord, only half? That's right. I like it, you know, but not exactly an SCP so far. Yeah, I'm wondering when this is going to become an SCP article and not just, hey man, I've had some crazy bad trauma. To Sumerian's question at the beginning of stream. Oh man, yeah, I would have given up on this article way earlier if we weren't doing it on stream. I'm just not hooked enough for the amount that's gone on here. This is not an insult to the author, of course. Not every story is going to be to everybody's taste. As I said, people in the discussion have said that this resonates them very strongly. And people, I am happy for those people who are enjoying it, even if I am not. Not every story is for every person. Joshua Brown, thank you for sending 24 stars to the Containment Hazard Assessment team. You have now given them 5 more prestige ranks and made them a 3-star chat. Intern McPumpin. Yes, 3812 theoretically can kill 682, although due to 3812's mental degradation due to its anomaly, it is not likely to want to. Woo! SCP-049 and Stormfelt, thank you each for sending a star to make the chat a 5-star team. And then 049 sent 1 more star, reverting you guys to another 1-star team with an extra prestige rank. Hey man, you look cool today. Well, thank you very much. I'm feeling pretty cool today. I got space shirt, black lab coat, hair's looking good. All around, feeling pretty hip today on camera. What are your opinions on SCP video games? Intern Ribba, I want more of them. Yeah, guys, I'm going to go ahead and call it that this is definitely going to have to settle as a 2-parter. I do not have the attention span to continue reading this today. And since we're going into the weekend, that means that this will return Monday or Tuesday if we have any time-sensitive topics, such as upcoming news on the SCP movies front. So right now, we're going to wait through the weekend. This can wait till Monday or Tuesday. Woo! You don't stream on the weekends? Intern Journey of Games, we've been streaming every day for a year and almost 3 months. That includes the weekends. But the weekends are traditionally shorter streams because of my cover job as a ballroom dance instructor. And so we stream earlier on weekends and we stream shorter. Now, one thing I want to do before I completely drop the subject of this article is I just want to look up They just mentioned a specific hotel in Tampa, the Ashford Hotel, where something very bad for that character happened. And I'm wondering if I can find a picture of it because I want to see if it's a hotel I recognize since I'm from Tampa. This is talking about someone selling a hotel. Da, 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 na, 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 na. It's possible that when it sold, it changed the name, and therefore it does not exist anymore, unfortunately. So that means I cannot show you that particular hotel. But oh well. Alright, we'll keep that for later. I am now returning to the chat. SCB-049, thank you for sending 5 stars to the Containment Hazard Assessment Team. They're now a 5-star team. No, they're not. They're a 1-star team with another prestige rank. Okay, and this stream is currently 2.5 hours long. Reading half that article. We have 30 minutes left of general Q&A, we'll call it. Is Brian still pestering you? Yes, Amber, although a lot less than before. Brian, the parasitic centipede that lives in my shoulder and is psychically linked to me, is still pupating and is therefore not ready to be taken out by medical. Honestly, I'm starting to wonder if medical is using me in some sort of anomalous experimentation without my consent, because I think they're leaving Brian in there a little longer than they're supposed to. Intern Space Monkey. How is Sebastian from Pressure trapped in the Hadal Black Site in the first place? How is Sebastian already trapped in the Hadal Black Site? Anyone here like/play Undertale or Deltarune? Intern Spear. That is a fandom I do keep tabs on in my off time. I don't play, but I do watch lore videos. What should I do if I think that my moon lamp is an anomaly? Put it in a containment box. Run some tests. Why do you think it's anomalous? In my Roblox SCP game, you play as the SCPs. I need an ability idea for SCP-173 because right now, he just has his basic snap attack ability. Do you have any ideas since you have good knowledge on SCPs? Well, first and foremost, remember, SCP-173 is not a he. It is an it. In fact, how does it have a gender? It's a statue. So, please practice proper pronoun parlance protocols at the Foundation. All anomalies in containment are objects, not people. Second, I mean, you could give 173 a strangle ability that cools down faster, but is weaker in that it damages and holds them, but gives them a chance to escape. Because 173 doesn't just snap necks. 173 does strangle as well. My moon lamp randomly got one more phase than it used to have. Intern Lumi. Is that because your lamp is anomalous, or did the moon gain one more phase that it didn't used to have? That happens all the time. Fucking moon is anomalous in 1,800 articles on the wiki or something. Do a search for Earth's moon. Uh, 918 pages mention the word moon, but that doesn't mean the moon itself is anomalous there. Oh, that's just SCPs too. That's 918 SCPs that mention the moon. How is the tree that won't scream still not broken? There's been so many hurtful tests done on it. Does it regenerate? Yes. Yes, read the documentation for SCP-4521. It literally has a healing factor, like frickin' Wolverine. Stupid ass tree. Intern guest. Welcome to Site 42 staff. Thank you for subscribing. Intern purple. I do not know what a Void Emperor is. Intern Space Monkey. You said, basically, he was framed for the murder of 12 and sent to jail. Urban Shade swooped in, took an experiment underwater in the black site. A breach happened with all the other entities, and he became trapped. Please read after you read what I said so it makes sense. So, but why is the entity trapped down there? Why is the entity trapped? How come this Sebastian can't leave, is what I'm asking. I get why we test on the tree, but why are we so angry at it? Intern Wacky Clown, SCP-4521, emits a ear-piercing silence. It hurts. It's frustrating. It's annoying. Anyone would be mad about that. Intern Purple, you said actually Void Emperor is an SCP. Which SCP is Void Emperor? I'm not familiar with this particular anomaly. If he got out of the black site, the pressure would crush him. Pressure. Meanwhile, isn't pressure super controversial? Is it, Wacky Clown? I know it's popular. I didn't know it was controversial. I haven't really looked into it. Okay. If Sebastian cannot survive the water pressure of that site, being outside of it, then we will bury the containment site for Sebastian in a submersible under the sea at an underwater site so it can't get out. Seems easy enough to me. Void Emperors from the Chinese branch, Dr. Sherman. Okay. Interesting. Let me see what I can find real quick. SCP. Void Emperor. So this comes from Fandom Wiki, so I shouldn't trust it. This is on our SCP. Quora. Character Stats and Profiles Wiki. Quora. Exploring the Void Emperor and Scarlet Demon creations. Where can I get some lore on this? The Void Emperor is a hypothetical person who bears concepts such as most, ultimate, or primary. It sits in the void between reality and illusion, which is called the delusional domain. It is also the absolute prototype for a concept of divinity and God in the delusional domain. Chinese branch. Where's the actual number? Do we have a... link to this SCP besides... Does it actually have an SCP number, or is it a... I don't think it has an SCP designation. Okay, the Scarlet King didn't have an SCP designation for the longest time. So where is this, mentioned then? It's like the brother's death. They're out there, but no article. That makes sense for some of these things, yes. This is the, what is this? This looks like a power scaling wiki. Void Emperor is the infinity connecting the true narrative and the delusional domain. Void Emperor created the delusional domain, which is a narrative domain containing countless phantom bubbles. Phantom bubbles contain entire worldviews and narrative layers. Void Emperor is the presenter of the outmost narrative framework and the ultimate cover of truth. Void Emperor helped get rid of the influence of the Scarlet Demon. Upscales from Jester in yellow and SCP-2165. Isn't that irredeemable? It quote-unquote upscales from irredeemable? Does Chinese branch have lore on what irredeemable is? Huh. I didn't know 2165 had further lore. Alright, subreddit, tell me something. Alright, I found 3 pages. This RSCP post shared 3 pages relating to said Void Emperor. So, here's this subreddit post in the chat. So if you want to look up some more of that lore, you can start there. You'll have to translate some things. Irredeemable, that's an evil Superman clone, right? Power Scaler, no. That is not what that is. At least to my knowledge. Void Emperor is second to strongest next to Supreme Author, by the way. Okay, so now there's another crazy Power Scaler lore going on. Ah, fun. No, I wrote the most narratively out-of-line thing. No, I wrote the most narratively power thing. Intern Gabe, thank you for sending some thumbs up to the Containment Hazard Assessment team. I'm sure the positivity will help them out. Supreme Author is SCP-3812 level. Width is so much weaker than Void Emperor. So you're saying that Void Emperor is stronger than Supreme Author versus whoever it was that just said Void Emperor was top or the other is top. Are you into power scaling? I just joined the live and power scaling was the subject. Intern Power Scaler, your name is Power Scaler. I assume you like power scaling. I am neutral on power scaling. I can enjoy a little death battle from time to time, but people get to playground arguments over it, and then it's not fun anymore. I like it when people are having fun. Also, I do get a little annoyed when it comes to SCP and power scaling because we get accused of being power scaling slop all the time when it's very hard to find anything on the wiki that is remotely power scaler worthy. Oh, Jiminy sakes. Dixie Spear, thank you for sending 75 100s to the containment. Oh, more than that. 78 100s to the containment hazard assessment team. I am sure, chat, you have to keep it 78 times as 100 as you currently were. I wonder if you even have the body to do that. I have a stick that's the same height as me, and what should I do with it? Intern Lumi, I think you should be carving runes into it for a wizard staff. Practice your thaumaturgy. Site 42 staff, by the way, we have 14 minutes left in stream. 14 minutes remaining. Do remember our sponsorship opportunity here, which is that there is a big YouTuber convention happening next weekend that I am skipping work to go to. I'm paying for very expensive tickets. I am buying merch from our friend of the channel, Toe King Studios, so I can hand it out to get people to remember the SCP Foundation exists. So please, if you have extra donation funds this month, I would appreciate the help. We are shelling out here to be the SCP Foundation's diplomatic envoy to Open Sauce Convention in California. It'll allow us to meet with YouTube corporate, maybe inspire them to invite us to more YouTuber events, because now they will know we exist, as well as talking to other YouTubers in the film and gaming space especially. So any help will be appreciated on this cause. Dixie Spear, thank you for sending that 79th one hundo. There was some lag and it didn't show up, but now it has. Keep it one more time as hundo, everyone. Carlos, thank you for sending 2 doubloons, a star and a 1 hundo to the chat. They are now a 2-star team with a couple of doubloons, and they have to keep it 1 hundo even more. Dr. Sherman, you can just call me Intern Space. I will try to remember that. Whew. That half an article really took it out of me. I am going to have to go for a walk and see some daylight and stretch out. Lazaro, thank you for sending a makeup brush to the Containment Hazard Assessment team. I'm sure they will beat their face, make it look cute and savage. Can a fart be anomalous if you eat a piece of 6A2 while drinking SCP-001, the Fountain of Youth? First and foremost, what the hell are you talking about? We are a serious organization, most of the time, some of the time, once in a while. But A, if you drink the Fountain of Youth, it will have nothing to do with your farts. If you eat 682, you will probably just be sick and or die. But despite the silliness of your query, I am going to look up if there is a fart SCP. There must be. There are over 10,000 SCPs. One of them must be a fart. So, SCP-4032, codename Deadly Fart Berries. Seems promising. SCP-4032 is a wide, mounding, deciduous shrub producing small, round, brown fruit designated 4032-1. When an animal or human consumes this anomalous fruit, it produces extreme gastrointestinal distress. 1 hour from consumption, the affected individual will form an excess amount of flatulence containing elevated levels of hydrogen sulfide and a smaller but noticeable amount of methane gas. Due to an anomalous effect, this flatulence will continually be produced until the affected individual is deceased. You will fart for the rest of your life. Because you will fart yourself to death. If you go into a room where the gas can build up, you will inhale the gas and die. So if you eat the fart berries, you need to live outside for the rest of your lives. So yes, 4032. Deadly fart berries. There is your fart anomaly. Now, on the better side of things, just for my general entertainment, you're getting a full reading of this article. SCP-7394-J, codename, Hilarious Farting Frog, click now to see. Item number, SCP-7394-J, Object Class, Keter, Special Containment Procedures. SCP-7394-J is to be kept in a small box in Janitorial Assistant James's closet, who will tweet every time SCP-7394-J lets rip a hilarious one. Janitorial Assistant James is to use the hashtag #KetterFrogFarts. Description: SCP-7394-J is a small tree frog, species unknown, with the ability to data expunge, causing massive internal bleeding and psychological trauma in subjects caught within a 2-kilometer radius of SCP-7394-J. Approximately 259 deaths have been traced back to SCP-7394-J. This effect is overshadowed, however, by SCP-7394-J's ability, hilarious ability I might add, to fart whenever it hops. Researchers have concluded that this fucking beast just won't stop letting him rip, and 7394-J has been a major hit at almost every party. It is pretty much the funniest thing you'll ever see. Just trust researchers on this. Although certain recommendations towards creating stricter containment have been voiced, these have been downplayed in favor of increasing exposure to 7394-J's humorous gaseous melodies. Personnel voicing these precautions obviously have no sense of humor, and if they would just watch SCP-7394-J farting at least once, researchers hypothesize they'll finally understand why this is so fucking entertaining. Addendum 7394-1 Incident Log, abridged due to length. Date redacted. -J breaches containment from Site-44. 21 personnel casualties, 3 civilian. Nuclear failsafe deployed following breach of SCP redacted, SCP redacted, and SCP redacted. Last message from Site-44. Did this really loud beer fart, we all lost our shit. Right on. Date redacted. SCP-7394-J lets out silent but deadly fart. Hilarity ensued. Double-digit redacted personnel left permanently disabled. Date redacted. A ceasefire is called at Site redacted during an attack by Chaos Insurgents, in order to allow the insurgents to hear -J. Insurgents later admitted, that was all we really came to do, it lived up to all our expectations. Fighting resumed, resulting in redacted estimated casualties. Date redacted. SCP-7394-J breached containment and managed to enter the site cafeteria. It subsequently began to consume a plate of SCP-666.5-J while it was located there. Remember, 666.5-J is the stuffed mushroom entree that caused the fires of hell to roar forth from staff assholes. The result of this incident has been deemed a memetic hazard and has not been transcribed here, and SCP-2000 was activated shortly after. However, Janitorial Assistant James describes the incident as 10 Gulf War oil spills, each with a drop of oil being imbued with pure uranium. The fart was still hilarious though. Hashtag Apollyon Frog Farts. There is also an audio log of the frog fart. It will not show up on this stream, but you can go listen to it. Dr. Frogman, I was wondering if you were here for this anomaly. I am glad you were here for the Keter Frog Farts. Random Cookie Boy. Quasi Quafter, right? Thank you for your first donation of today's stream. Grab yourself a packet of rainbow-colored candies of your choosing on your way past the commissary. Dr. Sherman, I know you have nothing on me, but please find a way to guilt trip me into writing. It might help. Also, what's the latest on VHS news? Give me one moment, Quasi. I just need to pull something up. Do 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 do. Quasi, you're gonna have to pay attention here. You see, this is my disappointed face. Because I'm looking at your author page. And what I see is the furthest you have gone in the series is series 8. You didn't write anything for series 9? You didn't write a thing for series 10? We're almost to series 11. We opened up the Lost series. And you're just letting time pass you by. Last article in the 7,000s. You should be ashamed of yourself. Get your ass to the keyboard and write something. Doesn't need to be good. Just needs to exist. To break the block. That's what we're talking about. Yeah, as it happens, I got a job and I started being employed. Oh, yeah. And you let various and paltry things like eating and having a roof over your head stop you from your artistic passion? Bananas, man. Bananas, which I guess you can afford with your job. But where's the craft? Where's the craft? The passion. Oh no, desk. You horrible, horrible monster. The desk would like to add. Every time you don't write an article, a kid raised by the rubber gets a chance to write it before you do. Oh. Oh, harm. Also, what's the latest on the VHS news? Quasi. So, our current news on the VHS announced SCP movie. Long story short. A. On Monday, the VHS franchise announced that their next movie is going to be SCP themed. They're going to do a found footage anthology with their overarching narrative being the SCP Foundation's redacted documents. Now, there are 3 factors that people are worried about when it comes to this movie. Number 1 is they never contacted the SCP Wiki staff. Now, due to the Creative Commons, they don't actually got to do that. They can just make their movie. Creative Commons allows them to do that without consulting us. But of course, SCP Wiki staff wants to make sure everything's on the level and that they understand the license, so they're trying to make inroads to communicate with the crew behind the VHS film franchise, at which point they will hopefully, once it's legally cleared with the license, SCP Wiki staff says, okay, you're good, make your movie. We have nothing else to say. Now, the fandom has 2 more concerns. Concern 1 is AI use in the latest iteration of the VHS franchise. Now, when we say AI use, they had 1 photograph that people are saying is an AI photo. And I will admit, it does look like an AI photo. If I were to clock it, I would say it's AI. But it is 1 photo in 1 movie. They have gotten chewed out very much since that movie came out. And so there is hope that maybe they won't do that again. We don't know. We need more details. Third issue is that the film studio One of the film studios that owns the VHS franchise, they bought the franchise from the original creators, is a studio called Image Nation Abu Dhabi. Image Nation Abu Dhabi is owned and run by the United Arab Emirates government. It is their cultural spreading film studio project. Because of that, there are a lot of SCP fans up in arms that the UAE and their slavery-endorsing government should not be supported by seeing this movie. Now, I've done some research into Image Nation Abu Dhabi. They've worked on a lot of very prominent films and games over the last 12 to 15 years. They've worked on Injustice, the DC Mortal Kombat game. They've worked on Prey, the recent, very good, critically acclaimed Predator movie. They've worked on a lot of things. They've gotten an Emmy. They've gotten some BAFTAs. The Academy Awards and most of the American capitalist businesses do not fret working with this group. And so it's going to be, where is your line on how much this benefits the UAE that you don't see this movie because of it? Because Hollywood and the games aren't. As Nolono puts it, the other side of the argument will be saying the UAE thing feels like hating a PBS show for America's war crimes. That is kind of in the way of that. That is a equivalent exchange argument there. So, that one's going to be a murky debate the whole time of the movie. And until we have more intel on it, I am keeping myself emotionally restrained on making any judgments. That is the latest news. Staff is still trying to get a hold of the studio as far as I know. They haven't told me that they got a hold of them yet. I'm still trying to find different contacts I have in SCP Filmland where I can get 7 degrees to Kevin Bacon, make that contact for them. Pardon me. They've worked on Prey. Oh, man, Arcane Studios' extraordinary immersive sim that's in my top 5 games? The Predator franchise film. Oh, who cares then? Prey 2017. Damn fine game. I hear the DLC for that, the Moon one, was super good. I never played it. Do I have to get back into Prey? It was a really good game. I enjoyed it. Hey, Dr. Sherman, any news on the gayest man alive? Intern Lumi. Still in containment, still sweating that weird heroin construct, still not homosexual, because it's gay as in happy, and actually, the entity is not really into sex at all, because it's constantly sweating heroin, at which point, it's always happy, it doesn't need sex to feel good. Yeah, for those who are curious, SCP Gayest Man Alive is SCP-230 for your reading pleasure. Wow. 6'1", 150 pounds. Scrawny. I guess you only need to eat maintenance when you're sweating heroin. I'm sure that leaves you in an emaciated state. Well, Site-42 staff, we will catch up on the back half of SCP-9344 over the next week. I'm sure we'll find time for it. But we have made it to the end of stream, and as we do at the end of every stream, I tell you guys my favorite SCPs. Now, I'm not going to tell you that my favorite SCPs are the ones I personally wrote. That would be sheer narcissism and cheating. But if you want to read the SCPs I wrote, you can go to the Sherm's author page in Site-42 Hub on the SCP database. There you can see the SCPs I personally wrote, as well as contributed voice lines or sound effects to. And while you're on my author page, one tab over, you'll find a list of links. Links that people ask about in the chat all the time, but then they just aren't clever enough to find. It's so sad for them. But not for you, chat. You'll find those links. You're clever. And when you do, you'll find yourself the SCPs I wrote, and also a list of links. Links that people ask about in the chat, but then they just aren't, I told you, see, I'm tired today. Yes, you'll find the links, and when you do, you'll have the option to become a Patreon patron or YouTube channel member, donate to us monthly. You can do a Ko-Fi or YouTube Super Chat, donate to us one at a time. Either way, direct donations are the quickest way to help Site42 to do crazy projects, like going to this convention, to introduce YouTubers to the SCP Foundation. Ooh! What if I filmed myself interacting with YouTubers and being like, tell me what you know about the SCP Foundation? I could do a video of that. That could be interesting. I'll consider that. I'll consider that because making content for it might cheapen it and make it harder for the to naturally connect to the people I'm trying to make network with. So maybe I won't do that. It would make it harder to network if I put an artifice about it. Maybe I won't do that. Suffice it to say, I will make connections with YouTube corporate and other YouTubers, and hopefully get some people into the SCP content making game, or assisting us with our own content. So, thank you for that. Now, if you are broke gang, do not fret. You can still help us out by spreading us in the algorithm. Members of Mobile Task Force Psi-42, codename Signal Boosters. Like, share, subscribe, comment, chat. Make fan art, memes, out-of-context compilations, whatever you can to spread Site42 in the algorithm, as well as the SCP projects we support, the SCP Wiki and its authors and artists, SCP filmmakers, game devs, animators, podcasters, merch makers, etc. We thank you for your service on that. Now, without further ado, my favorite SCPs in no particular order are SCP-3999, SCP-3043, SCP-008-J, SCP-Spooky-J, SCP-5031, SCP-5175, SCP-5020, and SCP-8980. Content warning on that last one. It's a bit of a rough read. Speed round. 399-304-309, content warning, that's a rough read. Site-42 staff, that is now another Dr. Sherman's Office Hours, a subsidiary of the anomalous broadcast from Site-42. Hope you had fun. I hope you learned something. Be safe, be well, and as always, secure, contain, protect. I'll see you in the next video or stream. From a bark in the harbor, I went roaming on shore and stepped into a pub where I was oft times before. And as I was sitting and enjoying my glass, who chanced to walk in but a young Spanish lass? She sat down beside me and kept squeezing my hand, saying, "Sir, you're a stranger, not long to this land. Will you roam, Johnny Sailor, will you roam along with me to some lonesome spot where nobody can see? Don't you leave me, Johnny Sailor," were the words she did cry, waving and weeping and wiping her eyes. "And when you reach home in your own Newfoundland, think of the young Spaniard kept squeezing your hand." The credit song is "Bark in the Harbor" by Great Big Sea. Be safe, be well, Site-42 staff, and as always, secure, contain, protect. I'll see you in the next video or stream.